All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, May 15th. It's about 7:50 Pacific Standard Time here in California. And I just want to let everybody know that, I'm so glad that we are back on Project We Inspire Facebook platform and YouTube channel. My name is Rachel May Yang. I'm here in Sacramento. I am the host and creator of Project We Inspire. So, just as a nice reminder for everybody, our mission here is to provide a platform for individuals to share their inspiring journeys, while they pursue their dreams, their goals, passions, despite all the challenges, adversities, and obstacles that they faced throughout their lives. Right now, our vision is to share a lot of their stories, and to carry the message of hope, strength, and inspiration to help each one of you to get past some of your darkest days or challenges so you can continue to move forward. Today, we are so lucky to have a special guest from St. Paul, Minnesota, Fang. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on your show. So it's been a
Thank you
while.
so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while, and I think we had seen each other originally last year at the Here conference in
Yep.
Wisconsin. So we did, we had met there, networked, and talked, and it was a lot of fun. And then we bumped into each other again about a month ago, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. We met
so
at the wedding.
yeah, but so excited to have you on Project We Inspire. And, again, a shout out to everybody who is, a viewer and a fan of Project We Inspire. We are here to educate, like I said, tell stories and journeys of individuals that have accomplished their goals, their dreams, and they're here to share a little bit about themselves. So, if you should have any questions or anything, please feel free to write it in the comments. We will definitely answer your questions. Unless they're inappropriate, then we're going to say maybe not tonight, another show. But with that said, we would like to start off with Fang's childhood. So please let us tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, how many siblings you have, and what was it like growing up in your home, Fang?
Yeah, well, Rachel, thanks for having me, first of all. And then thanks again, all of you guys that are listening. I'm very happy. Like when I met you, I was really happy that you're doing like these shows because, it's a great place to bring like a lot of us Hmong community and even non-Hmong too, but really like different experts in their fields and to come and share the information for all of our community. So I'm very glad you guys are doing it. Continue the great work that you guys are doing there. But yeah, if you guys don't know me, my name is Fang, or Tu Fang, and I used to live in San Diego. So my childhood, uh, well, we moved from Thailand because most of us, I think almost all of the Hmong people that are here in the U.S. were refugees of the Secret War or the Vietnam War. Um, and so yeah, we came. I was born in a refugee camp over there. We came when I was 9. And when we were over there, we're little kids, so we live in like the poorest sort of environment, but we don't know better. Like I remember when it rains, hang out in the rain with our friends and things like that. That's already fun, right? As little kids.
Mhm.
Um, and then we moved to San Diego 1994. So I was 9 at that time, and we all live in a two-bedroom apartment in San Diego. So there's 8 of us kids. So I had 3 older sisters.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 older sisters and 4 younger brothers. So there's 5 of us boys.
Oh, you're like in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm the oldest boy. All the girls are the older ones.
Mhm.
So I was raised by girls essentially. And then it's my mom and dad too. So there's 10 of us in a two-bedroom apartment. Um,
Wow.
and I slept in the I don't know why. It's kind of weird that I kind of got my own space. It was just a closet, but
Okay.
it's enough to fit like the a full size bed in there. So I put it in there and I slept there. Uh, and then of course we have bunk beds for everybody and things like that. So that's the childhood. San Diego, 1994, 10 of us in a two-bedroom apartment.
Wow, that's amazing. That reminds me of when my family, I have six siblings, and there was eight of us in a two-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't get my own space. We had three queen
Should it?
size bed that was
Uh-huh.
next
Yeah.
to each other side by
Oh yeah.
side.
Yeah.
You remember that? A lot of
Yeah. We
people, a
had
lot of
that.
people remember
Yeah.
that. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So, I just want to say hi. Is it Doya, right? From
That's
Jamong.
cool.
Thank you
Oh
for
yeah. 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 He's right. Yep.
viewing, and Linda Yang. Um, you and Ali are inspiring. Oh, um,
Nellie's my wife, so
oh, okay. Oh, see,
they're buddies of ours.
I was
I
like,
blackmailed them into listening. No, I was kidding, but
good
they,
job.
yeah.
Well,
um,
I'm so glad that your viewers are interested in knowing more about you and joining us tonight. But thank you for sharing that. That does remind me of a lot of our humble childhood, of how we are big families, but we live in close quarters, right? And that's
yeah,
one of, I think, the gifts that we have. Having big families is living in these small rooms and being close together and
yeah,
having that family oriented mindset. So, with that said, moving right along. Thank you for sharing. Um, who were the three major influences or factors like in your life that influenced you to pursue higher education at University of San Diego? Because you shared a little bit in your bio that you went to
yeah,
college there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I live in San Diego, so one of the school there is UC San Diego. Um, Actually, I wanted to go to Berkeley, but uh, because I got accepted to San Diego, my parents were like, "No, you're staying in San Diego."
Of course, of course. Every mom parent, you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
accepted in the college in town, you're staying for
Yeah, I
sure.
should have just never applied because I did get to Berkeley too. I wanted to go and because I wanted to get away.
Hmm.
But because I got accepted to San Diego, my parents were like, "No, you're staying in San Diego." But it's fine. It worked sort of worked out for us. Um, but my dad was always a big proponent for education, and so he doesn't even know that much Laos, but he knows a little bit. So back in the old days, that's a lot already. That's really high education already. He could write and read a little bit, probably like second, third grade level. And because of that, they made him, sort of like the leader in their village for our family. And so he always wanted us to continue to educate ourselves. I remember even in the refugee camp, he has like a little library of books and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and I spend a lot of time with my dad because the older sister, they spend time with my mom. I have a lot of half siblings too, but all of them are already here in the U.S. Except for one, but he's married too. So then I was like the person that spent the most time with my dad, and he's the biggest influence in really pushing me to kind of educate myself. And so it's not just like the formal education stuff, but any other type of education, like this continuous like learning, this journey that you just need to continue to learn. Because he also taught me thing and stuff like that too. So like all the Hmong
Good
culture
job,
and
Dad.
stuff. Oh, um, yeah. So I always just been in that sort of space. So it's kind of natural for me. But I think a lot of our Asian family member or well, our Hmong people too really push for post secondary or just education in general. It's
Mhm.
important. So
Yeah, that's wonderful that your dad pushed you and your dad utilized like his set of skills and, like you
yeah,
said, allowed and also created a place for you to want to learn in life and in higher education. And that is very typical of most Asian and Hmong families. That's wonderful to hear that he taught you to play luqing. Did you
yeah,
also start that when you were fairly young, like maybe
yeah,
nine,
yeah.
10 years old
When I was
too?
9, yeah, he tried to teach my half brother, but he couldn't do it. So
Oh wow. Are you still playing looking? Are you
yeah,
um
I could still play. But since I moved to, well, when we were in San Diego, I used to teach too. So
oh
once I learned it, then there's some programs that my dad teach, and I taught along with that, especially the younger kids. Um, but when we were in San Diego, there's not that many to thing, man. So all of us, we all help each other out. So it's almost every weekend. So when I was very young, I was doing it already. Like I started at 9, so I
Mhm,
think probably by like 14. Not that you know everything, but it's like you know. Oh, I knew all the stuff to be full fledged to thing. You could kind of
mhm,
do everything already. And so I started doing that already at that time. And
mhm.
in San Diego, there's not that many people. There's not that many Hmong people, so we do that all weekend, almost every weekend. It's like cultural stuff.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, because
No, that's amazing because at such a young age, you're able to lead. And I've heard this from Mason, Mason Her, who
yeah, yep, I
also
know.
is a thing player, right? We
Yeah,
met him at the
he's a
conference,
cousin of
and
mine.
you know him too.
Yeah,
So he was telling me how the journey of learning looking and how much involvement you have with your father and uncles and everybody, and it's such a special journey to have. And so, I definitely admire and uh, uh, I was in a way jealous when I was younger that I couldn't really learn looking because I was a girl, but I learned now there's so much
yeah,
responsibility behind it as well.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but
There were
yes,
there were
definitely,
a couple of girls that learned throughout that process when I was growing up. There
yeah.
were, but I never see them like kind of complete everything. You know, I think just that expectation, in our or wrong expectation, I should say,
Mhm.
in our community.
Yes.
But it's not good for like a teenager to. It's very difficult for me.
Mhm,
Well, my younger brother does it with me too, the one right after me.
mhm,
It's very hard for us, like doing all these cultural stuff because we're so busy every weekend,
mhm.
and like it's very difficult for us in our dating scene. So
Right. I was gonna ask you, I was gonna say, you go to school all week and then you are part of these very intricate, right,
yeah,
cultural ceremonies every weekend, and you have a really important role. So I was gonna say, where's your social life, especially when you're like 9? Well, I mean, like it's
all
to
the
your teen years, right? What did you do?
all the aunties love us,
Oh, of
so
course.
they're always trying to hook us up with their daughters and stuff. But when someone try to hook you up, you do not want to date that person, so it's very difficult. Um, but you do what you can and stuff,
Yes.
and it's just part of it. And
Yes.
we're both very happy with our wives right now. They're both Hmong,
Mhm.
um, well educated, very good, Hmong women that very strong too, that support both of us. So
That's awesome.
we're okay. We're good.
That's good. You're like, even though you had a hard time in the dating scene, you guys got good partners
Yeah,
for life. So that's
I was
wonderful.
surprised.
Oh, well, you know what? Nali, wife, he was surprised.
Well, actually, I was very surprised with my younger brother.
Oh, okay.
She's from your guys' area too.
Oh, in
She's from
Sacramento?
Davis. Yeah,
Oh, Davis? Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So you might know her. I could let you know her name after we chat here, but
Yes, yes.
you
You
probably
let
know
me
her.
know.
I know you know her. You'll probably
Okay.
know her. Yeah,
Okay. We'll have to check on that afterwards. That's another show.
yeah,
All right, thank you so much. So, moving right along to you had shared that when you were in college, the thing, everyone's experiences are, obviously very different. But what were 2 or 3 most important lessons that you learned about yourself in college, and how did these lessons help you along with your journey now?
yeah. Well, the first lesson I learned right starting in college was that I was not prepared. So
Yeah.
I remember I was top 10 in my class. Like I have a
Mm,
good GPA, and stuff. Because I was. It's not that I'm smart. It's just that I was just pushing myself to do that,
yeah.
in the academic space. And so I didn't have time for hobbies or anything like that. And but once I got there, I had a 4.2 weighted GPA to UC San Diego. And then I
Wow.
met some friends. Oh, that's not that's the GPA is really stupid.
What?
And then I went there to met some friends that came from other schools, and they had like
Yeah.
4.7. And I was like, yeah, I'm so much better. I have like a 4.2. But they
Wow.
were scared because they went to a better high school that really prepare and teach them, you know.
Wow.
I went to Kearney High School. It's a great, it's okay school, but then, just that college preparation factor
Yeah.
of it, it's not as prevalent. And
Yeah.
so even with a high GPA, I wasn't as prepared as I should be. And so, um, I think like high school education needs to really prepare you for post-secondary education, or even if
Mhm.
you go to the trades or wherever you're gonna go, there needs
Mhm.
to be more preparation for that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so that's
But you
what,
still had a 4.2 GPA and you were top 10 in your class. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, um,
yeah, but out of
wow.
college, I was not.
It's a different story. It's a different story. But
So
you know what though? You made it through, right? The good thing is that you made it through. And
yeah,
like you said, your first lesson was that you were not prepared or you weren't as prepared. And I
yeah,
think that's one of the common things when you first go to college is you go in and the schedule is definitely not like high school in
yeah,
your 12th grade and under, right?
yeah,
And definitely I can relate to that. Going into my first year of college, I was like, wow, like I can just go to school for an hour or two in the morning and then,
yeah,
go do a little bit of homework or just hang out and then have lunch and then have classes in the afternoon or later in the evening. It's
yeah,
very broken up and it's very different and especially the reading and writing level.
yeah.
Um,
I struggle a lot with writing, uh,
yeah.
and it's because we're first generation, right? And
Mhm,
so like we, even though like my dad really pushed education on us, he doesn't know any better, right? He doesn't know how the system works, right, and
mhm,
stuff like that. And so it's all on us. And this first generation going to college, it's really difficult. Like you don't have the proper foundation,
mhm. It's true.
um yeah, and so when I was there, I struggled a lot with writing,
Mhm.
because we had to pass a certain threshold for writing.
Yep.
I did good in math, but it's just the writing part was very difficult for me. And at the same time, still trying to learn English, right? So
Mhm.
it's like
Yes.
it's really
Yeah.
hard.
I remember
But
going in there and I was like, okay, what are all these big words mean? And looking up at like almost every single big word and
yeah,
um right. And like you said, like I thought I was a pretty good writer. I'm a natural writer and I write all the
oh,
time. And then I go to college. I'm like, I don't think this is the writing I was supposed to be working on. But I remember even going to grad school and they said you have to take grad writing classes too. But
yeah,
it's so eye-opening because again, academic writing on, post-secondary or, college levels,
yeah,
they're very strict. They have formats they follow and there's certain verbiage and language that they use, especially in the field that you're going in. So
uh-huh.
it's definitely not easy and it's a struggle for a lot of us who are English as a second language. So,
Yeah.
but
I almost failed because of writing, but so
really,
yeah. Oh, so this is what I had to do. This is the second thing that I learned. So I'm more, I understood the mathematical stuff better, like
hmm
than writing stuff. Like sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like why you guys like it's all it's all arguments, right? For
yeah,
writing. Yeah, I didn't understand that, and
mm,
so I leaned on really heavy onto like my math skills. Like I was already taking like the sort of upper division math courses,
hmm
so I was learning logic and proofs and stuff like that.
wow,
And so I like that stuff.
hmm
And so what I did to pass my writing stuff was I just used the proofs that I was doing, like that structure of mathematical proofs,
oh,
and I write my essay based on sort of that logic, and that's how I pass. So like what I learned is that you need to lean on some of your strength, and then you
mhm.
translate your strength to something that you're not good at, and then you could make the connection better, because it
That's
makes
an amazing lesson.
yeah,
That's excuse me, amazing
yeah.
lesson is leaning on your strengths. I'm going to borrow that from you.
Okay, yeah, go
Lean
ahead.
on your strengths to help with your
Yeah.
challenges, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so looking at writing through the math proofs perspective
hmm
and math logic and reasoning, from that side, allowed me to really put my arguments in place. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so that's what I so that's one real lesson that I learned that I kind of take to everything else that I do now. It's just like, okay, what am I good at? And then like look at it from that side because there's so many different perspectives. Like,
Mhm.
if you're a writer, maybe you look at everything sort of from the writing perspective, right?
Mhm.
And so now that I do investments or businesses, I might look at like different social. I do actually now look at a
Mhm.
lot of different social programs, even though I was involved in a lot of social programs before,
Mhm.
um, like a lot of nonprofit before. Like now that I'm sort of in the profit sector, I'm looking at how to resolve these issues on from the profit side, right?
Oh,
So it's
wow.
like now, like so, and so you could always look at multiple perspective, and if you're good at thinking from one side, you can always use that to understand everything else. So that's a lesson I learned.
That's a great lesson. I'm definitely going to borrow that because I do see now that a lot of my thinking comes from my clinical background of, they call it like looking at a whole person,
Uh-huh.
considering like all of their background and especially like in mental health, looking at their strengths, looking at all the great things that they've contributed, especially if they are very vocal, they learn how
Uh-huh.
to express themselves, but it's modifying those expressions to be appropriate. And definitely, like you said, having different perspectives or taking the strengths perspective, as
Yeah.
we call it in the clinical world, and then putting that into the work that you do, it really changes your views on people
Yeah.
and their problems and their issues. But that's amazing.
Yeah.
I really definitely admire that you've taken your what understanding of, because I'm not good at math. Okay, sorry for all the Asian
Yeah.
people. I can't even say how far I got in math because I no, it's not even a good thing. But math was a very very hard topic for me. But for you to say that you loved and liked math, or that math was a very comfortable and also a subject that you enjoyed, and you
Yeah.
took that perspective and put it into something that you were not good at, or that you needed a lot of improvement, and that framework helped you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's amazing, because I think a lot of people who do not do well in college, they forget that they do still have strengths in other areas, and they can transfer that, right, those
Yeah.
skill sets and thought
Absolutely.
process. So
Yeah.
whoever's going to college right now,
Yeah.
okay, definitely, you know take
Yeah.
this concept and learn it, because it just, you can't be really good at everything. I thought at one point that you had to be good at everything, and I remember my dad taught me, no, everybody goes to college to learn how to think better, how to learn
Yeah.
how to research and things like that. So
Yeah.
but that's amazing. I really love that. So you learned, the first thing is that you were not prepared enough, but two, you did learn that your strengths will help you with your challenges. So
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
wonderful. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with your experience in college?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you asked this already, but my degree was in mathematics, and so
Hmm.
that's why
Yeah.
it was easier for me. Just that challenging part. I didn't even know that I actually there's a difference between lower division math and upper division math. Like upper division is all like proofs and logic and stuff, so it's almost not even
Oh.
math anymore, or well, you could say it's more math, but
Hmm. I never made that far, so I can just say that math has been always the hardest. I was the opposite. That's so interesting that you said that
yeah,
writing and reading, or writing, was hard for you. I had to pass a statistics class. It made me think about this, and it took me 3 times to pass it in order for me to go to grad school. I could not understand it until I took some of the concepts in in the English and writing classes that I learned, like you said, the logic and everything, and put it back into the math.
yeah,
And then I finally realized, like, oh, it's similar, but just that it has numbers. I was like, oh my
yeah,
goodness. So
yeah.
thankfully I passed and I was able to go to grad school. But
Yeah,
I mean,
see,
hey,
that's how you do it, right?
yep, yep.
To me, I was realizing, oh, it's similar, but we have less letters.
Yes,
So
yes.
if I use less letters, I'll understand it better.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Was I remember taking these statistics class, and I just said, why do you mix numbers and letters? They don't go together. But then after, when you start really understanding, like, oh, these letters represent this and these numbers
Yeah,
represent
yeah,
this, and then I realized after applying it to research, stats, and I go, oh, okay, now it makes sense. But
yeah,
you know what? That's the journey of higher education, right?
yeah,
Is
yeah,
to know more about yourself and to learn about those things that you haven't learned yet. So
yeah.
that's amazing. Thank you. And then yes, you Oh my goodness, you have a degree in math. So
Yeah,
yeah, please don't ever ask me about math stuff because my degree was in music therapy and social work. So but thank you. Thank you for that. So I noticed here in your bio, Fang, that you said after completing your bachelor's degree in math at UC San Diego, it led you to be interested in being in the IT industry in 2008. So I'm curious, what influenced you to leave the IT industry to now pursue investing in real estate or be in this field?
yeah, yeah. Well, I accidentally went into IT. Well, maybe it's not accident because I do like tech stuff too.
Mm-hmm,
So like we already kind of like I remember when the app in middle school when the Apple computers comes out like
mm-hmm.
with the floppy disk and stuff. I always enjoyed using those. And
I
there's
don't know if
always
a lot of the young kids now will remember the floppy disk
oh
because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
way
You
back
guys
then.
know floppy disk. Yeah. But back then Apple had like these secret keys, like there's like 5 keys that you could type in and then you get admin access. And and we
Oh,
always yeah, this really like uh, security wasn't that big of a thing back then in terms of cybersecurity stuff. So yeah, we always do that, and then we could play games on the station versus like do work.
oh
That's
wow.
super much
Okay,
fun. Yeah,
for all those that didn't, that's probably why they now have these firewalls,
yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah,
have
yeah.
right
There's
in the
firewalls now.
cybersecurity. There's people that dedicate well a whole section department just to cybersecurity now.
Yeah,
So
yep.
it was the young kids like you who broke the code and started doing non-work related things.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But so it's that
wow.
interest in games so that we could play games
Yeah.
and stuff on the computer. But so I was always interested in tech as well. And when I finished math, you had to take a lot of like computer science classes along with it too. And
Mhm,
so after I was done, I was working for this organization. It's part of UC San Diego, so I was
mhm,
employed for UC San Diego,
mhm,
but it's called Cal Soap. So it's actually a nonprofit organization.
mhm.
Uh, we do outreach, so it's the California Student Opportunity and Access Program. And
Oh.
so, yeah, so it's nonprofit. It's outreach to high school students and stuff. And I was employed there while I was going to college, and
Mhm,
so I was like out there. I was an advisor that was out in the school, like trying to promote post secondary education, walk them through the process of financial aid, all that stuff.
mm.
But I always have a tech interest. So then I always end up like in my department, I always end up talking to the tech guys, like, hey, you know what, we need to write, we need to populate these forms. Like, and so I was bouncing back ideas. And then it turns out the guy over there also went to UC San Diego. He's a tech friend of mine too. So we just had that relationship. And I was just talking to him back and forth to share ideas to improve like our standard procedures and processes,
Mhm.
right? And so I was doing that, and then the year that I graduated, my supervisor retired, right? And
Oh,
like we planned like this big college fair of like over 120 colleges that come. We have
yeah.
like three to 4,000 students that come that night from
Wow.
all the San Diego County and some even from like sort of the LA County as well.
Mhm.
And so but before that, I was helping her plan that, and then it turned out she retired. They couldn't have anyone, so they hired me for 6 months to do that fair because I just
Wow.
graduated. So they hired me. It's a six
Mhm,
month contract, and I was like, okay, yeah, I haven't got a job yet. I was
mhm.
applying for different jobs and I didn't get it. Um, and so I stayed there for 6 months. I finished the fair, and then the tech guy in our department there left. They don't
Oh,
have a tech,
wow.
and they have all these reports that need to
Yeah,
be completed because they need to
yeah.
send the report back to the headquarters in SAT because it's
Mhm.
California program. Um, and they need to send the reports back, and then nobody could do it. And so I was like, "Oh yeah, I do this because I was helping them with the reports because we were like, I'm in the text stuff, so
Yeah,
I just went there, helped them complete the reports, and then
yeah.
they'll find a replacement. They couldn't find anyone that know the report system, the database, and stuff. And so then my supervisor just hired my boss, the
Mm,
big supervisor,
mhm.
the director, she just hired me another 6 months to make sure
Wow.
our other reports get completed.
Yeah.
And they hired someone else to come do it, and couldn't do the reports. And when my 6 months was over, then she just hired me full time to take care of the tech department there. And so that's how I end up in the IT industry, almost sort of by accident.
That's kind of cool. That's, you know what? It's that sometimes the jobs that we have in our lives or careers, sometimes, like you said, it temporarily, it just comes to you. You're at the right place at the right time. You
Yeah,
know, you're talking to the IT guys, and then again, you had done a fair, um, and it ended, and then this happened to fall right into your lap as well.
yeah,
And that's really, I think that's really cool. Just to have those opportunities, the diversity with your work background, and then to have the ability to just move right in to do reports, and those are sometimes hard jobs to get,
yeah,
but because of your background and what you had done with the tech guys in that department before, it allowed you to work on that. And you have a math degree, so I bet it
yeah,
was
yeah.
not complicated. I would have struggled. I would have struggled, but you know what? I would have stuck with the college fair. That would be my gig. But
Well,
that's really cool.
I moved to the IT position,
Hmm.
but the fair still followed me. So I was still
Really?
doing the fair as an IT professional. I mean, my supervisor did allow me to hire a staff,
Yeah.
like a non-tech staff to help,
Hmm.
but still, I was still in charge of that all the way until I left here to Minnesota.
Well,
So
you know what? That's great because um, having what so many prospective students come onto campus. I remember that experience, just going onto a college campus and learning about all the different clubs or different colleges. I mean, it was so exciting because everybody's goal and mission was to go into higher education. And
yeah,
so that's wonderful. So you continue to be what, IT tech,
yeah.
um,
All the way
and
till, well, yeah, I stayed there. So this was 2008. So I
mhm,
don't know if being hired was a good thing or a bad thing because at the same time, I have a lot of half siblings. So
mhm,
my dad have four wives, and
mhm.
my mom is the fourth wife. So we're a lot younger.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
have a lot of older siblings, right?
Mhm,
And at that time, 2008, they wanted me to come up to Minnesota to kind of
mhm.
help them because my dad passed away already.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry to hear that.
yeah, he passed away when I was in college, like my second year in college.
Mm.
And so they were just waiting for me to finish school because
Oh.
once I finished, they wanted me to go up because we don't. I mean, dad passed away, so it's like you
Mhm,
need to come stay with your older brothers.
mhm,
Yeah, so 2008, they wanted me to go up. I was looking for jobs, but then again, I got hired, and so I don't know if that was good or not. Because if I would have just gone up here,
mhm,
I would probably start my real estate career earlier,
mhm,
um, probably like 10 years earlier.
mhm.
But I mean, it is what it is now,
Yeah.
and yeah, the reason for real estate is I wanted to do real estate for a long time already. I know that that's a spot. I mean, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad in college. Uh,
Mhm,
I'm pretty sure you or the audience, all of them know about the book. And
mhm,
so that's not even a real estate book, but it teach you about entrepreneurship and everything. And real estate is part of that. And so I knew I wanted to, do that for a while. It's just that I got stuck in the tech field and in the nonprofit space, like because this is a
mhm,
nonprofit organization, which I love. I love the working for my school there. I love the organization. I love helping students go to college and everything like that. I love all my time there. Um, and then when I moved to Minnesota here,
mhm,
I went to what I know too. I went back to post-secondary education. So
mhm.
I got a job at as in the IT department at St. Paul College up here too.
Yeah.
I went to college up here. And then just last year, that's when I left full time and to do real estate.
Oh, wow. So you actually went up there, excuse me, and you
Yeah,
continue to be in higher education.
yeah,
Um, so you had mentioned in your bio too, then that you and your wife moved to San Diego to St. Paul, like you said, and you started investing in real estate in 2017, pre-pandemic until
yeah.
now. So, from your experience and opinion, what were some of the challenges that you and your wife faced during that time? Because it was a scary time, and what were some of the key essential skill sets or mindset that you and your wife had in order to make like the relocation and to do the
Yeah.
career shift successful, because you know a lot of people move and there's so many things that come into place, right, need to pan out. And like I was telling you before our interview, like I was planning to go or move up to Minnesota, and then I was like, oh no, I don't think I'm going to go anymore. But I do know that moving a whole family, or like you and your partner, it takes time. So what were some of the things you guys learned, and what were things that you guys needed to do to set that up? Because I know a lot of people like to move and relocate, but they're kind of scared, right? They're kind of
Yeah.
nervous, scared. So what did you guys learn?
Well, the first is when we moved here, um, well, it wasn't that scary for us um, because my wife, she wasn't from San Diego,
Mm-hmm.
and so once we got married, after our honeymoon and stuff, we really need to think about how we're going to raise our family. And if people don't know, San Diego is like really expensive. Okay, so at that time it was me, my brother, which also has a good job, his wife, he married before me, my younger brother,
Mm-hmm.
and my other brother. So like the four of us are working like decent jobs, and all of us are living in one house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't afford it otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then he has a baby, and then now it's like, okay, well, I got married too, so we're gonna have kids. Like we can't live like this forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't have two large families living together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we don't want to go back to 1994 when we moved to US, right? Like 10 people in two bedroom. Like, come on,
Right.
like, we need to like grow and
You
learn
need your
and
space, you
establish.
need your
Yeah,
own bathroom.
yeah,
Oh man,
something
it's
like
tough.
that. Yeah. So then I told my wife like, okay, or actually all of us sat down really like, okay, we need to like make a move, like we have to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to really start about, okay, where we're gonna raise our family and stuff like that. And so we did look at SAC again, because that's where my headquarters was at that time. I think they're still there. It's a California program, and also we have families in SAC as well. Her on both sides. But my wife does fashion. She does clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met her, she already has her own clothing stuff. Like she sell mom clothes, make mom clothes, all that stuff already by herself. And so I think that's probably why we got along, because we already kind of shifting to that entrepreneur side of things. And so we also look at Minnesota, because if you're gonna sell monk clothes up here, it's a really good a market, to sell monk clothes as well.
Yeah.
So she came up here to check out to excuse me, to sell monk clothes and to check out the space up here. And at the same time, before that, we at our honeymoon we went to Laos and we met my sister-in-law over there. My
Oh,
sister-in-law and my brother, they have a big house in Laos. This is my oldest brother. They do a lot of real estate stuff. And so they're back and forth. Like they
wow.
live over there 6 months, be over here 6 months, live over there a year, come over here a year. My older brother loves that because he grew up in Laos. Like
Yeah.
his childhood is in Laos, so he has attachment to it. I don't have attachment to Laos at all, because
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were there in Laos, we went there for a honeymoon, and my sister-in-law came pick us up, and then my wife started like she was confused, right? So she started asking her like, "Hey, what do you guys do?" and stuff like that. Why my husband don't tell me that he have I do these things too? So they got along, and when we came back to the U.S. and my wife came to Minnesota, my sister-in-law also came back to Minnesota. And
Oh,
so when she was over here, the both of them continued to talk. And um, my sister-in-law just said, "Yeah, you guys need to move over here and invest in real estate. We'll teach you guys and things like that." So that was in July, for July 4th. And we were already planning to move. We were planning to move to SAC. But then she went to Minnesota, talked to my sister-in-law,
mm-hmm.
um, and then she came back. And then in August, the next month, then we just moved up here to Minnesota. So it was very quick. So if
Yeah.
you're gonna make a move, don't
Yeah.
think about it too long. If you think about it too long, you're not gonna go. Like if
Yeah.
you
Remember
think
I
about
was
it too
telling you?
slow, you can go.
Yeah, I remember I was telling you I had thought about it for at least a year, and I just kept thinking, going back and forth. And by the time it was gonna happen, I just said, no, I'm not gonna do it, because you're right. If you keep thinking anything over again, you think of
Yeah,
all the reasons why you're not gonna go, and all
yeah,
the things that could fail. But that's amazing. I think that's really cool that you were able to, and your wife was able to talk to your older brother and sister-in-law, and they taught you guys and inspired you guys to want to go into real estate. And you know, and that's amazing to have a house in Laos and to also come back to the US and to be connected both to your home country and also to the US. And that's wonderful. So you guys went in August
yeah,
that year.
yeah.
Um,
So
and
so we
now,
came
wow.
August, yeah, yeah, and then you talk about the education. I mean, you talk about like the struggles, right? Like we came in, we didn't know anything. Remember, I'm from the tech space, and
Hmm.
so like I don't know anything about real estate. I don't know how to fix houses. I don't have any tools. Like I don't have a screwdriver. Well, I do for computers and stuff, but other than that, like I don't know how to fix houses, and so it was really like our first struggle is really to educate ourselves. Like this is
Yeah.
part of the education. So like I always think, okay, like going college is your formal training, but after college, like you need to continue training. Like
Yes.
it's not like
The hands-on,
yeah,
right?
oh
Because
yeah,
the college till text, the college teaches you the textbook version of what you need to know. This
yeah,
is what I tell my staff.
oh
A
yeah,
lot of I get a lot of UC Davis students, and I
uh-huh,
said the textbook, right? It
yeah,
teaches you the definitions of things, terminologies, concepts. But when you're actually like on the site, you're working. There's no textbook that's going to say this is how you deal and work with a client who has this
yeah,
kind of mental health. I think in the textbook it tells you what kind of mental health it is and what kind of symptoms to look for. But like you said, the hands-on,
yeah.
it's a totally different experience, right?
Yeah, yeah. Especially if you go to like so if you guys don't know, like California has a master plan, right? Like education master plan. And so like, the community colleges are supposed to teach all the technical and trade stuff. The CSU systems, you
Mhm.
know, do like actual teaching, like so they have nursing, sort of professional level. And then
Mhm.
the UC system, it's actually focused on research. So
Mhm.
if you go to like any UC schools,
Yep.
you're just researching. Like you're like learning all these theories and stuff. There's barely any hands-on. Like I
Mhm.
didn't know. So it's a research institution. Like
Mhm.
all the UCs are research institutions. So if you want to go research, which is great, like if you want to pursue research and stuff like that, that's perfect. Like you could go and be with like the top like the top researchers or like the professors that they hired there, that you get
Mhm.
access to them, right?
Yes.
To the latest research and stuff. Like when I was doing all the tech stuff, that's when Android just came out. Google Android, and
Oh,
we were
what
we
year
were
was that?
this is probably 2004, 2003.
Oh,
I
wow.
went to college 2003, so probably 2004.
Mhm.
Um, and we were programming on like a simulation of the Android because
Wow.
they barely just came out. I think Google just bought them or something like
Mhm.
that, and then that's the Google platform now, like for
Mhm.
Pixel and cell phones and stuff like that. So see, we get to be at the forefront of the research.
Yeah.
Like if you're in tech at UC San Diego, Qualcomm makes a lot. Qualcomm is one of the large company that is associated with UC San Diego,
Mhm.
and they make a lot of like the functions, a couple of the chips that are in like a lot of the iPhones that people don't
Mhm.
know. Most people, some people don't know that, but so Qualcomm is really big down there as a tech company down there too. And so if you're there, you're at this giant research institution. You have access to all these resources, but
Mhm.
I wasn't prepared like to take advantage of these resources, right?
Mhm.
So just so you guys know that, but
Yeah, that's good to know. That's now I know why all of my UC Davis students. And shout out to UC Davis.
uh
A lot of my students come in and they're kind of like, "Oh, so I can do all the paperwork, but all the actual like hands-on work, it's a little bit more of a struggle." And I
yeah,
realized, having gone through the CSU system at Sac State,
uh-huh.
and you know what I mean,
So
it's a
they're
little
prepared
different.
for work, right?
Right, right. It's a professional. Now it makes sense.
Yeah,
Finally, I was like, oh, that's why the training is so different. And I realize now. Thank thank
Oh,
you. I
yeah.
couldn't I couldn't I couldn't put my hands on. I was like, what why am I feel like I was speaking Martian. But
Oh,
I think now when you go to a school, like it says, based on research, and then you have, and then on top of that, like if you go to a school that trains you, like you said, the professional, the
yeah,
hands-on,
yeah,
because my training at Sac State was totally completely different.
yeah,
We had so much practicum work and internships that allowed us to use the concepts in our classrooms, right?
yeah. We don't have.
In Yeah, in the field. And then I learned now. I'm learning. Confirm. Use the
Yeah, yeah.
system
Yeah,
now.
like that's the system, and I think our, especially our Hmong community too. I think we
Mhm.
downgrade or we downgrade some of the specialized training from our community colleges and our
Yeah.
CSUs. Like
Yes,
those trades at the community college are so important, and
they
even
are.
like some of the trainings at the CSUs too. And we want all of our kids to go to like a UC school or
Hmm.
like Stan or Ivy League. Like it's like, dude, these Ivy League and UC systems don't really teach that. They
Hmm.
do really well with the research, and so
Hmm.
you have access to like the latest and greatest. But if you don't take advantage of that, you don't need to go to those systems.
Hmm.
Um, and our parents kind of down they don't push us to also. I think it's better you find your best fit, and then
Hmm.
you can always go to another school if you want to. So
Yes.
I really love the trades and the CSUs.
Yes, same here. I've heard of really great things with CSUs, and especially in California, they emphasize on like nursing, professional social
Yeah,
workers, and the trainings in the schools are like excellent. And so,
yeah,
again, a shout
nursing
out to Sac
training.
State.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and so not hating on you, State, for anything, but yeah, I think it's just pretty much where you want to emphasize your training and your background, but
yeah,
yeah, I think that's a really good thing to know, especially for young adults who are wanting to choose a system to go to. And maybe there's been misconceptions or misunderstandings about the different systems, educational systems here in
yeah. Well,
California.
because I think we over promote like like these prestigious schools, and
Hmm.
I just think that sometimes it's not good it's not a fit for
Hmm.
like the majority of our community
Hmm.
members.
Yep.
And so if you guys are thinking about colleges, let's see, right now is yeah, I think you have to start thinking about colleges right now. You should
Yeah.
get acceptance letters pretty soon, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, my son just see he applied last November, December. So
Yeah,
I think this is around the time when I think they start announcing, or maybe even earlier, like
yeah,
think February,
yeah,
March. But
yeah.
definitely I was so happy he wanted to go to Sac State. He wanted to be in business management. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, yes, that'll be really good for him.
Yeah,
And I was like, you know what? They're gonna really teach you how to get on your feet, like to start working in the field.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
but mhm,
so like the other thing you asked, like our struggles up
yeah.
here, what I was trying to get at with that education thing was that I had to re-educate myself because
Mm.
I didn't learn about real estate and stuff. And so, like I said, I didn't have any tools or anything. I just had to re-educate myself. So
Literally tools, right? Like you
yeah,
said.
actual tools, I don't have actual tools. Like I don't have a drill, like all that stuff. Like it's really embarrassing. Um, because at the beginning you might have to do some of the work,
Hmm.
because to save money and stuff. And so what I did to educate myself was one, like listen to podcasts,
Hmm.
right? So Bigger Pockets, it's a social media platform for real estate investors. It's free, biggerpockets.com. They give so much great content on there.
Mm.
They do have pro memberships, which I'm a pro member on there too, but you don't need to do the pro membership yet. Just do all the free stuff. Like it's so much good information already. So they have one of I think the largest real estate podcasts on there. They have a bunch of other resources on there for you as well.
Hmm. Bigger pockets.
Bigger Pockets,
Bigger
like the
pockets.
pockets bigger, like Bigger
Hmm.
Pockets. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm taking notes. I'm taking
Oh,
notes.
okay. Bigger Pockets. Yeah. So any real estate investors, they know. But if you're not a real estate investor, search Bigger Pockets.
Hmm.
Um, and they'll get a ton of resources there. I think they have like 2 million members,
Oh
or
wow.
something like that now. Um, so go out there, get resources. I did that for the first like 2 years. That I kind of re-educate myself with all the real estate stuff. I remember I read this book by one of the hosts, the podcast host there, Brandon Turner.
Mm-hmm.
It's called I don't know the full name, but it's basically Buy Real Estate with Little or No Money Down, by Brandon Turner. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm really slow. Like remember, I'm a math guy, so like English stuff like is I'm really bad at that.
Noted.
Yeah, so so I downloaded the book, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
listened to it like over and over and over. I probably listened to it like 30 times. Like every time I
Mm-hmm.
go for a walk, I listen to it. I drive to work, I listen to it. I come back from work, I listen to it. Like it's just like me obsessing over that book and all the podcasts and stuff. So I listened to it so much where I pretty much memorized like all the stuff that he was saying in there. And
Mm-hmm.
that book is very foundational in like me understanding real estate and investing because it teaches all the different options that you could do in there, like all the creative stuff. Because I didn't have money, so like the throughout the whole year I was working, I was stupid with money. I did not save anything. So when I got married, we start from nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife has more money than me, and so basically I start from nothing, and so I had to find a way to buy real estate with like very little money or no money at
Mm-hmm.
all. And so that book was very foundational in me and re-educate or educating myself in that 2 year process. Um, so all the other like there's a bunch of other books too that I read throughout. So I was just like reading books, listening to podcasts, reading books, listening to podcasts. Then the other thing that really helped is, my older brother. We live with my older brother and my sister-in-law, the one that we were talking about, because
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have a place to live. We moved there. They say just move in with them, because all the kids moved out already. It's just the two of them. Um, and so we stayed with them, and they said, okay, um, any work that you do, just like keep all your money, right? And so you can invest in real estate. Don't pay rent or anything like that, right? So we were fortunate enough that they did that for us.
Mm-hmm.
So the 6 months that we lived with them, well, more like 10 months. The 10 months that we lived with them, every time that because I was working remotely because I gave my work like 3 day notice, and then I left.
Wow.
Yeah, and my director's like, "What? You can't do that. Like, can you work remotely until we
Yeah.
find replacement?" So this was before COVID, right? This was
Mm-hmm.
before working remotely was cool. Um, so I was working remotely, but there's a time difference, right? So I had to wake up early. Right after I finished, it was like 3 o'clock, right, over here in Minnesota time.
Mm-hmm.
Right after I finished, I just called my brother and see where he's at. So he's fixing his house. They have like 30 properties or something at that time.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
they already
In
sold.
Minnesota?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
They sold a lot. Before they had a lot more, but
Yeah.
they're selling phase already. So
Yeah.
they sell like 30 properties around. And so yeah, he still goes and fix some of their stuff. So right when I'm done, I just call him. Like, I don't, where are you? And then he just tell me, and then I drive there, and then I just
Yeah.
help him with whatever he does. Right. And
Oh.
so like I do that for the 10 months that we were there because I know nothing about real estate, right? So I was educating myself, but to get the hands-on stuff, I just call him. Wherever he's at, I go. If he need to cut grass, I just cut grass with him. If he needs like it was so dumb where like, do you know what sheetrock is? Okay.
No.
You're like
um.
I did not know what sheetrock is. Okay. Sheetrock is a brand name for drywall. Like drywall,
Oh.
like the walls and stuff, right? But,
Okay.
but it's the brand name is called Sheetrock, so everybody just call it Sheet Rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, why are we getting Sheet Rock? Like why are rock sheets? Like I had no idea. And then he took me to the store because he's like, yeah, we're gonna replace this wall, so I need to get some sheetrock. Do you want to come with me? I'm like, yes, take me. But I don't know what sheetrock is. I'm like, why
Mm-hmm.
why are we getting like a sheet of rock for? I went over there. It's drywall, the brand name sheetrock, and so it's stuff
Oh.
like that like I was really stupid about because I didn't know, and then getting to look, learning stuff like that hands on, getting to look behind the walls, right? Because he'll break stuff, and I'm really at that time I was really scared to break walls. Like I'm like, oh, I don't know how to like I get anxiety like if the little things break and stuff.
Yeah.
But going through that with him, where he's like, oh, this break, yeah, we could just patch it. It's very easy, right? So all this stuff that I did. So I get hands-on training from my brother there for 10 months. And
That
so
sounds like a great practicum. Like that's like an
yeah,
internship, right?
Yeah, it is, right?
right? A volunteer, what, hands-on internship, 10 months of just, like you said, meeting him. I think that was a great approach. It's just
Yeah,
right after you're done with work, you just call and say, hey, where are you at? I'm going to come help you.
yeah.
And just going to the store, like you said. And Shane Yang was saying, LOL, I didn't know what sheetrock was too. Yeah.
Yes.
So I was just thinking when you go into, I mean, I just learned it today. So I learned something new. But I mean, that's where I think, like you said, you just going into learning it, you know, on
Yeah,
site,
on site.
right?
Yep.
On site, hands on, going to the store. Because
Yeah,
can you imagine everybody's talking about sheetrock, right? And you're just like,
yeah,
oh, okay, I guess people like to buy lots of sheets of rock, you know,
yeah,
and everybody's looking at you like, mm-hmm. But no, I think that makes a lot of sense. Is just to have that hands on. But I really admire that you took the time to learn from podcasts and the book, and you are obsessed about it. I've
yeah,
learned that a lot from people who are entrepreneurs and people who are very successful. Is that they obsess over it, they learn it, memorize it, they live it, breathe it, and they just build that as their foundation. That's amazing. But on top of that, you took that 10 months,
yeah,
you took advantage of that in a great way where, your brother and sister-in-law, they taught you guys, and then you went on site and you're learning. And I think that's self what that's like, right? That's a self starter type of person, right? And
yeah, yeah,
that's really important, I think, for a lot of folks who want to go into real estate. Is like you said, you got to know what sheetrock is, and you
yeah,
got to learn how to, you know what's behind the wall. Like you said, actually, I don't even know drywall. So one of these days, when I get there, like you said, when I start flipping, I'm gonna ask you one day,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and, and your crew, I'm gonna say, so what's this stuff
Yeah,
that's behind the wall?
yeah, the thing is, like, and the two of them have been very great mentors to us, and they
Mm,
introduced us to a lot of different people. But at that time, we did get a lot of pushback too, like from my mom and some of the other siblings. Like they're like,
mhm,
"Oh, he's your older brother, but he's just using you. Like, why are you working
mm.
for free? Like all that stuff." I'm like, I'm staying at his house for free, like, you know.
Mhm.
And so it's like, who cares? I'm cutting grass, right? Whatever. Like I'm learning all this stuff because
Yes.
like mind you, my sibling, they know I'm from the IT space, so
Mhm.
I'm here. Like this
Yeah.
my day. I'm like on the computer. I turn around. I'm on the computer. I turn around. I'm on the computer. Like I
Yes.
don't fix cars. I don't fix houses or anything like that, right?
Yeah, it's a different world, especially
Yeah,
my mom always tells me like, so it's a
right.
different part
Yeah,
of your body and head that you work with. But you're right, being in the
yeah,
IT in the professional world, it's working in office space indoors. But when you're
yeah,
actually working in real estate, landscaping, fixing cars, you're out there, right? You're actually
yeah,
doing the
yeah,
manual labor stuff. But I can only imagine that was such a shift, going out to the sites and learning,
yeah,
working your drill, or having, like you said, a screwdriver. Yeah, a screwdriver for other things,
yeah.
but not for a
Yeah, I don't have
house.
drills, nothing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
going there, I think the two of them, they saw that we were very serious,
mm-hmm,
and we, we'll just put in the work, So
mm-hmm,
at that like that first 2 years or even 3 years, like I rarely hang out with my cousins in them. We
mm,
do have a lot of cousins here, but it's like if you go hang out like on a Friday night, like you're drunk, and then the next day you have a hangover, and then mess up your whole Saturday
yes,
and probably Sunday too. And
mm-hmm,
so if you're already working a full-time job and you really just have like that precious weekend to like put in additional work,
mm-hmm,
and then if you get drunk on the weekends, then after a few weeks, like months go by already,
mm-hmm,
and you
mm-hmm,
haven't gotten anything done. So I had to really like that first sort of education phase. I really had to stay focused and really just hang out with my brother that teaches, and then everybody that or he sees that me and my wife were really serious. We work really hard, and so he started introducing us to a lot of like his other entrepreneur friends, and so we get to meet them and develop relationships and connections with all those other people.
mm,
So like that whole time is just me building networks, me learning, me educating myself, like everything like that. And so that's the like if you're gonna start something, that's probably gonna be the struggle of that education phase that you need to go through.
mm-hmm,
And they always talk about mentors and stuff, right? Like right now, even people ask me like, how do you get mentors? Because now I got a lot of mentors that teach me a lot of different things, right? And I'm like, if you want to have a good mentor, like don't
Hmm.
wait for them. Like just see what they need help with. Like there's
Hmm.
something that you could offer all the time.
Yes.
Like mentors, if they have a really successful business or investment, they're really busy. They don't have time, but you
Hmm.
have time. So like you give your time to them, like
Yeah.
say, hey, I'll like, but don't go and say, hey, like I when the 10 months I was there, I never asked my brother like, hey, what needs to be done. No, I just
Hmm.
go there and if he's working on like framing something, I just hold the hammers for him, or I hold
Hmm.
like whatever tools he needs to get. He just say, hey, grab me that. Like that's what I do, right?
Yeah.
So like you're not gonna be able to provide a lot of value at the beginning, but if you want a mentor to teach you something, just be there and see whatever it is that they need help with, and you
Hmm.
just help them. Like
I love the fact that, and I really like that you mentioned that because sometimes it's very true that people look for a formal
yeah,
mentor, but sometimes all of what it is like you said, is just giving your time, being there at the moment to learn about those small, I call them baby steps.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, by you doing and learning and relearning and, um, you know, um, gaining all the experience hands on,
yeah,
like you said, now it's built the 2 to 3 years of foundation of hands on work,
yeah,
along with the knowledge and the information that you had learned from the podcasts and the books that you
yeah,
learned about. And now, like you said, now you know what sheetrock is, and you know what drywall is. I don't even know that yet. So so that's wonderful, because then at that time, like you said, the struggle is the hands-on, is the basic stuff. But I've learned this a lot with a lot of my special guests like yourself. Is they said your foundation is huge, right? With a lot
yeah,
of things that you do, is that you're going to struggle the first 2, 3, 5 years even. And
yeah,
once you get that routine, you get the basic terminologies and the concepts down. Like you said, you get the mentors, and not always the formal mentors, your
yeah,
brother as your mentor. You begin to connect and they see how serious you are. They're going to move you to the next level,
yep,
you
yep,
know? And that's key. I think that's a really wonderful journey to share and inspire everybody else who wants to go into real estate, because a lot of us who don't know the field, we're just kind of like, okay, how do we start this? How do we begin? But definitely learn everything you need to know book wise, but also learn
yeah,
everything you need to know hands on wise.
yeah.
And that is very helpful. Thank you
And
so much.
like you said, you have to really show that you're serious. Like
Yes.
I've met so many like successful Hmong entrepreneur investors up here,
Mhm.
and they're so willing to help me. Like,
Wow.
but like I have not met any investor or any Hmong professional up here that doesn't want to help. Like,
Mhm.
um, but it comes with like you really showing them that you're serious and you're putting the work and stuff like that. Um, if you don't, then it's hard for them to help you. Like even
Mhm.
like I have people that reach out to me and I send them like two books, like Rich Dad Poor Dad and that Brandon Turner book I told you about,
Mhm.
A
Yeah.
Little No Money Down. And I'm like,
Mhm.
let me know when you're done.
Mhm.
And I think all the time that I share that with people, like I have like one guy
Yeah.
that's finished it, and now he's part of my team. Like,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, finish first, and then like I could tell you, like we could talk about the book, and then you could come and do the work and stuff.
Mhm.
Like we need to have the same sort of foundation together, so at least we got the same vocabularies, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you need to prove that you're serious, and then once you do that, a lot of people will be willing to help you.
Mhm.
That's what I found. Like all the stuff about like oh, 俾條毛滿呀，不知路俾條 like I don't see that at all. Like all the
Mm.
more people that are successful that I see, the true successful people
Yep.
that I see, like they're so willing to help. It's just that it's kind of difficult to help if you're not getting the vocabulary, you're not putting the
Mhm.
work in.
Yep. That actually makes a lot of sense, because, if you have all this knowledge and resources, and the person who wants to be successful too, but they're not willing to put in the work, then, like
Yeah,
you said, it's very hard to teach and have them move, like you said, along the lines of what you have done. Like you say, have the basic vocabulary, have the basic terminologies and the concepts down, because there needs to be some kind of foundation there. So
yeah,
that's very much, that's very key. And like you said, the one person that responded is now part of your team, right?
yeah, yeah,
So, so I think that's very important. I think learn now, having been mentored, and now you're probably going to be mentoring him, is having a good starting ground. So
Yeah.
definitely for sure. If you don't mind, I wanted to move right along to
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
this
sure.
next part. But thank you so much for sharing your whole journey about that. I just want to again say congratulations to you and your wife. Um, you know, for having 24 properties and you're
Yeah.
continuing to invest in real estate. That's amazing. 24 properties. I think I've heard of here like maybe 9 or 10 properties, but having over 20, 30 properties, I mean, that's a lot to
Yeah.
definitely manage. So
Hard.
if someone is if yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
only imagine. If someone or a couple wanted to start investing in real estate today, so what would be, and you probably had covered a little bit of this earlier, but if they wanted to, you know, be where you're at today, what are like 3 important steps that you would best recommend that they start doing today?
Yeah.
And you shared a little bit about it. But
Yeah.
if they want to own multiple properties, right? Of course,
Yeah.
learn street sheetrock,
Yeah.
and but like that's not easy. So, what are like the 3 important steps that you
Yeah.
would definitely
Uh,
tell people to
well,
learn?
I mean, I could share a few, right? So
Hmm.
first is that you need to educate yourself, right? So that's like, oh shoot, get this. So first you need to go through that education phase, right?
Yep.
So that's about like getting educated yourself, podcasts, books, all that stuff. Or now that we've created a platform, come and learn from that too, right? Go to seminars. All of these
Oh,
are
excuse me.
education. Like my wife and I would go to a lot of
Excuse me.
oh yeah, bless you.
Sorry, I have
Yeah,
allergies.
that's
Trying not
it's
to
spring
sneeze.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is. Go ahead.
So my
Sorry.
wife and I, we go to a lot of seminars together and conferences.
Oh.
When we take vacation, it's really to go to these conferences as well. So we kind of plan our vacations around conferences.
Hmm.
Um, so do that. That's one. Number two here is or it's really like the practical thing that you could do, right? So there's a couple steps to this number two. The second tip here. So step one, you need to buy a 2 to 4 unit property.
Hmm.
Okay. So this is a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. So this is someone that doesn't have any real estate experience
Hmm.
at all, right? So buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. So anything that is between 1 to 4 units, it's still considered residential. But don't buy the single family yet. Buy the two, three, or four, and that's how we started. My first property I bought was a fourplex. Okay, so
Hmm.
if you buy a fourplex, you live in 1 unit and you rent the three. Those three should help you cover most of your expense already, or it might cover all. Like when I bought the fourplex, well, in your area, it
Hmm.
might not cover everything,
Hmm.
but it might help you live for lower, right?
Hmm. That's right.
In my area, like when I bought it, we lived in one of the units for free. We used the other 3 units and rented them out, and they pay for the mortgage, and we still make $900 a month,
Hmm.
and you're living for free too, right?
Hmm.
So what this will do, and you could qualify for this very cheap. Like you need 3.5% down. You could get FHA loan to do this. So it's 3.5% down. You need I think like a 640 credit score or something like that. So talk to a realtor and a loan officer in your area, and
Hmm.
they could help like you do this. And just tell them you want to use the FHA, that's Federal Housing Administration program,
I
for
was
three
gonna
and a
say
half.
you have to explain that because I've heard about it. I'm like
Oh, okay.
federal.
So the FHA is the Federal Housing Administration, and they will back up. This is a federal program, and so they will back up the loans. So basically, they insure the loans. If you don't pay, they pay the lender, so the lender don't lose out money. So the
Hmm.
lender will do this loan for you, right? So
Hmm.
any loan officers, they should have this program. Okay. And so all you need to put down is 3.5% of the purchase price. And so you could use that to qualify for to buy a fourplex.
Hmm.
Now you could buy a single too, but this first step you need to buy a fourplex or at least two, 3, 4 units. And so what that does is uh, that you could get into that property for very little down. You could also qualify for it way easier than a single family. because if you have
Mm.
a fourplex, they say you're gonna live in one unit, you're renting the 3 units out, so they take those 3 units estimated rent income and they add that to your income.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so it's actually easier to qualify for a fourplex than it is to qualify for a single family. Because in single family, they don't have any additional income. They
True.
only use yours. But fourplex, they'll use yours and they use 3 of the other units estimated rent to help you qualify. So it's actually
Hmm.
easy. Okay. So it's easier to buy fourplex. It's super easy. Talk to a loan officer, talk to a real estate agent. You guys could do that. Now that's year one.
Yeah.
Year two, move out, move out of the. You had to live there for a year. Well,
Hmm.
technically a year, but 7 months, whatever,
Hmm.
a year. So you live there for a year. Next year, you move out and you buy a small single family, like a starter home. Like a 2 bed, 1 bath, 3 bed, 1 bath, 3 bed, 2 bath, like 2 bed, 2 bath, smaller starter home. And the reason you're allowed to do that, I mean, you're always allowed to, but we're talking about to use very little money,
Hmm.
so you could do that with like 3 to 5% down, right?
Okay.
So remember, you use first one's 3.5%. The
Uh-huh.
second one now you're buying with 3 to 5% down, conventional loan, right? And so they'll allow you to still buy it like with very little down because you're gonna live in the property, and because you need some space. You're living with neighbors and stuff like that. So now you need some space, right? You need
Hmm.
privacy essentially. So they allow you to buy it, and so you buy that small starter home for your second year. Then you live there for 1 year. And then your third year, right?
Hmm.
Buy a larger home, like maybe a 3 bed, 2 bath, 4 bed, 2 bath, right? So you
Yeah.
bought a 2 bed before, now you buy three. You buy a three, now you need to buy four. And the reason they allow, and you still use 3 to 5% down again.
Mm.
And the reason they allow you to do that is because your family's grown now. You need better space, better school, better living location wise, right? Stuff like that,
Hmm.
right? So if you're in what South Sac, it's kind of bad. And so now you're going to Elk Grove, right?
Agree.
Yeah. So now going to Elk Grove, and so they'll still allow you to do 3 to 5% down. So
Hmm.
total, it's like 3.5, 3 to 5, 3 to 5. So 3
Hmm.
years, right?
Yeah.
And if you do this, you already have 6 units. So
Wow.
what that, yeah, what this will also do, right? So this is very easy. 3 years, get this done. Like really practical. Like go and just do it. Like
Yes.
yeah. So you do that, and what it
Research.
does is this: like when you live in the
Hmm.
when you move out to your small single family, you rent your unit out. So all 4 units are rented. You use that any extra income that is there to help pay for
Hmm.
your small single family. When you move from the single family to the larger single family, you rent that out and you use all the income there to help you pay for the large single family. So if you do this correctly, you should live rent free, essentially.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, because I was thinking about living rent free for a long time.
yeah.
A long time.
Well,
And remember
there
I
you
was
go.
telling you 1650. Oh man, I was like, a lot of people are paying their mortgages. They don't even pay 1650, right?
Yeah,
And right now, 2 bedroom, 1 bath is 1650. And then any of the duplexes right now down the street from me is $1,900 to $2,000 a month.
yeah,
And then any home, like regular homes, the 2 bedrooms, like your small to middle large homes, are anywhere between 2300 all the way up to $3,000 $4,000, and that's just
yeah,
renting,
yeah,
that's amazing that you
yeah,
can get your first home as a or
yeah,
property as a fourplex,
yeah,
rent out the other 3.5%. I'm taking lots of
yeah,
notes.
yeah,
I'm taking
yeah.
lots of notes. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Because I was like, how did you do this? And then after a year, you can go and buy a small house. Like you said,
Yeah,
it's just something small, 2 bedroom,
yeah,
1 bath, 2 bedroom, 2 bath.
yeah, yeah,
And then from there, with the 3 to 5% down, and then you
yeah,
could use those incomes and buy your larger home,
yeah.
like you said, is for,
That
like you
you,
said, when your family grows or
yeah,
in Elk Grove,
yeah, yeah,
So with that, that's already, like you said, 6 units that you've
yeah.
already owned.
So that's
Um,
3 years, right? And so
mhm,
what it'll do is that you'll live for very cheap, or
mhm,
you live for free, or if you do it correct in the right market, especially if you do it here in Minnesota, you'll make money
mhm,
in Minnesota, and that's how I started. So that's what my brother taught me,
Wow.
right? He's like, don't go buy single family, don't buy your expensive cars, right? You know,
Yeah.
this the first thing you need to buy is a fourplex. And so he helped me move through this phase, right?
Wow.
And so when you do that, like this is foundational, like work as well. It's part of your foundation for you to run your business if you're gonna do business or invest in real estate, whatever it is that you want to do later. Or if you just want to, if you love your job, right? You
Mhm.
should still do this because now you can focus on your job. You don't
Mhm.
have like if you get rid of your most expensive living expense, which is your mortgage
Yep.
or your
Right.
rent, you're
Mm-hmm.
either paying rent, you're paying to a landlord, or you're paying to a lender. All right, you have
That's
to pay
right.
no matter what. Okay, so if you get rid of that expense that you have, it's really good, right?
Mm.
But the most important thing that it did for me is that it frees my mind because I don't have to worry about it because
Oh.
everything's paid for now. So it freed my mind to really think about, okay, what's possible. So if you love your career, now it frees your mind to really focus on your career and grow your career, right? The things that you want to do. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to invest in real estate now, like I do, then now it frees your mind to really like see, okay, what's possible. That's how we went. Like we went like we did those three things and then we skyrocketed to the 24 years,
Wow.
right? Because we laid that foundation correctly, and it freed my mind to really think about like all the possibilities that we could do. And when we talk to our friends and we network and stuff like that, like when they say something we could hear it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like you know this already, you do training and stuff like that. 10 people in the room, they hear 10 different things, right?
Yes.
But if your mind is free and is ready to learn, then
Mm-hmm.
you hear it. If your
Yeah.
mind's not free to learn because you're so focused on, oh, I gotta pay rent, I gotta make
Mm-hmm.
money to do this, that, every month, to cover all these expenses.
Mm-hmm.
If you're constantly thinking about that, your mind is not open to new opportunities
Mm-hmm.
and new ways of thinking. And so the most important thing is not even like the rent free thing. The most important thing is that it's going to clear your mind
Mm.
to use your mental energy to build yourself, whether in your space, the things that you love to do, or to reinvest or build your business or stuff like that. So like these three things, like it could be done super easy. I think every single person should do it at least. And then if you want to do big stuff like what we do, then you could do that too. So
Wow, that's so amazing. I am so glad that you came on to Project Inspire because I have been thinking about investing in real estate just to do something very little so that I
yeah.
can live a rent free. I was dreaming
Yeah,
about that for the past, couple of years, ever since the pandemic, everything skyrocketed. And then I'm
yeah,
thinking like, how do I, just decrease or just at least, go back down to, I remember I was telling you, I used
yes,
to live in this apartment. It was 725, right? When I first started. And now it's 1650. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So,
it's not gonna
that's
go down. I'm
no,
sorry.
it's not.
Uh,
It's not. And I think a lot of people don't realize like the foundation of the hard work that goes with it. And this is an amazing plan. I really definitely see the importance in learning this process. Like you said, learning the terminologies and the concepts, like you said, the first 2 to 3 years, laying your foundation, and
yeah,
then moving to that next step of year one, year two, year three.
yeah.
And it takes time. And that's, oh my goodness. So,
3 years will go by very quick. Like if you start
right.
this process, like 3 years, you'll be like, oh, I'm glad I did it because
Yeah.
in 3 years, rent's gonna go up too. I'm
Yes.
very sorry. Like it's just the nature of and well, in your area, a lot of Bay Area money. They have a lot of money in Bay Area,
Mm-hmm.
so those money are moving over to Sac, and so
They
that's what
are.
drive up the prices.
Wow, they really are. And I was like, how was I going to, or my partner, and I, how are we going to, be in this, like I said, this real estate business, if not even just investing in our future, dream home. And that's an amazing, concept or strategy is to first own a fourplex. Because I think, like you said, most of the time people just want to go and own a small single unit, like a small
Yeah.
home or something, and build up. And but like you said, those three other units will add on to your income,
Yep.
and they know that you're going to rent it out, because you
Yeah.
can't
You
live
know.
in
Yeah.
all four. So that's a great strategy. So that's how you did it with the 24
Yeah.
properties.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's amazing. I'm still like absorbing it.
Yeah.
um I wanted to move along, shift a little bit to your weekly real estate education radio on Hmong radio broadcast. I think this is an amazing part of your bio that I was very much interested in because it does, like we said earlier, no, not a lot of people know the work that goes behind hosting, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And not a lot of people know the research and the things that we do. Like you said, you have to read, like what we did, right? I had to read a
yeah,
little bit about you, learn a bit, research, and watch some of your videos, and really you're self educating yourself about somebody brand new, but you really have to, I think, love it and like it and thrive in it. And there's a lot, like you said, work that goes with it. And I think I was
yeah.
telling you earlier, like I started in the pandemic and now it's my third year doing this. And the first year is the roughest, right? The first few
Yep,
months,
yep, yeah.
you learn all the mistakes and you don't have a process and you're kind of like, what's going on? And I want to thank you again for liking my process because I learned, like I said, the first 10, 12 interviews. Oh boy, I just go back and,
Don't go
like
back.
you said,
Don't go
don't go
back.
back, don't go back. But definitely, when I had seen that in your bio that you do weekly real estate educational radios broadcasting, I was like, wow. I remember when I was at the time unemployed and I was able to do weekly, if not monthly interviews. And it was
Uh-huh.
a lot of work. And I realized when I started working full time, I can only do like one every month or once every other month because it does take a lot of time
Yeah.
to create the like we did, the questions, the bio, connection. But with that said, what have you learned so far from being a radio host?
Oh, well, I did two things, right? So one is I actually do the interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So that that now I do it once a month. It's just too much work. But then we do the and then we do the so that I interview people similar to what you do here.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other is the weekly radio. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason we did the weekly radio is because one of my mentor has a radio station. Um,
Oh.
yeah, so see, he's another person that I met along the way,
Mm-hmm.
and he saw that like we were working really hard. He's also a general contractor. He invested in real estate for 25 years, and still going. He owns a lot of other businesses too, insurance, all that stuff. But he also owns a couple of radio stations, and so
Wow.
yeah, and so he invited. He's like, yeah, why don't you come on? We could talk. We could talk about real estate since you guys love real estate. Um, yeah, so I went on, and the other reason I did it was because when I was doing my interviews, I was talking in English because I was
Mm-hmm.
interviewing other people, and then
Mm-hmm.
I started getting all these not feedback, not a lot. There's a couple of like people that kind of trolling me and do these negative
Of
comments.
course, of course.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, why you don't speak Hmong and stuff like that?" And there's supposed to be a Hmong show and things. So then I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll go on the radio." So the interviews I still do in English, but the monthly interviews for myself on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
But the radio it broadcasts to Hmong people here in Minnesota. So then we do talk in
Oh.
Hmong there. Yeah. So yes, yeah, we follow the Hmong. It's just that because kuka right? So I know
Yeah.
the culture and stuff. I just don't talk in Hmong because sometimes the terminology don't make sense. But
Mm-hmm.
on there, we do talk in Hmong because we're broadcasting to a lot of Hmong people. And so mainly it's just me and him, me and my mentor there. We talk, we pick a real estate topic, and then we'll share the information. Occasionally, we do have guests that come on too.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the guests we had on was Ku Vang. He's a big real estate developer up here. And we talk about one of the development that he's gonna do, which is a $300 million plus development. And so
Wow.
he's redoing a large development here in St. Paul that he want the bid for. And so we do bring other guests on. But what I learned is it's that um, for my interviews, all my
Mm-hmm.
interviews, I learned something new from the guests all the time. Like
Yes.
so, I was very happy to be able to bring guests on and talk to them because I always learn. I hope the audience learn too,
Mm-hmm.
right? That listen, but I know that I always learn something when I talk to someone. And then in the but like you said, hosting is hard because you have to prepare. There's a lot of preparation work that goes
Right.
into it, right? So if you do even a monthly show, there's still a lot
Mm-hmm.
of prep work that you need to do. You need to understand the goal, the whole of the guest that's coming on, right?
Mm-hmm.
See what they do and things like that. At the same time, you're like during the interviews, you have to listen. You have
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's something I learned, to be a good listener,
Yes.
to try, or I don't know if I'm a good listener yet, but try to be a good listener, because you have to listen to what they're saying, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to like really pay attention and
You have to
and
be engaging.
yeah,
You have to be
engage.
very interested and make it sound interesting at the same time because
Yeah,
again it's a conversation. And I definitely want to say that that is something that really motivates me, is that I get to learn something new about somebody, if not several things that you would never know if you just did your everyday routine. But
yeah,
to intentionally, purposefully invite somebody to your show and to do research and to learn more about them and how they were able to manage and move forward with their success even despite all the obstacles, like you're sharing today with all of our viewers and everybody. You really do learn that you have to be a good listener to learn. And sometimes in life we get so busy, like I said, we're preoccupied with so many other things, especially bills
yeah.
and other worries in life. So, um,
But
but
one
yes.
thing I did learn is
Mm-hmm.
that our Hmong community, like it really empowered me, because
Mm-hmm.
our Hmong community is, we do have a lot of successful and caring people,
Mm-hmm.
like all the people I met. And like I mean, I make analogies to, like, like Sunisa, right? She's the
Mm-hmm.
gold medalist, so we are very, like, our community is very good, and we should be proud of like what Sunisa and them had done. But we should still and a lot of be proud of a lot of businesses, and a lot of like educators that we have, engineers, we have like
Mm-hmm.
all these like fantastic Hmong individuals, and we need to just bring them to the spotlight.
That's
And
right.
I know that a lot of the people that I talk to, they're more than willing to share any experiences that they gone through that could help the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I get to learn so much, and I see that, I have faith in our Hmong community, that
Mm-hmm.
we do care. There's, of course, there's gonna be small bickering here and there, things like that. But in general, we have really good community individuals that
Mm-hmm.
support and help our community. So
I definitely agree. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that yes, there's always going to be that small bickering, and then there's bitterness or somewhere jealousy,
yeah,
envy. But most of the time, a lot of the successful, caring individuals that we know, they want to share their knowledge. They want the next generation to be successful and to carry on the legacies, if not the message of hope and success, prosperity. Because
yeah,
they want everybody to know there's a lot of opportunities out there. It's just a matter of, like you said, learning it and gaining the information.
yep.
But along that lines, has there been something surprising about some of your guests? Okay, not, you don't have to out any names or anything, but was there something that you learned? Because I just think of, like, I was just like really curious. Like, I haven't interviewed an actual radio host, like what I kind of do here.
Uh-huh.
Was there something that you had learned that was very interesting or that was different you were not expecting um, while
Um,
being a host?
well, all the stuff has been good, but we did have some that we thought we'll do them a favor by bringing them on the show,
Uh huh.
but they felt like, no, they're doing us a favor by
Oh.
coming on our show. I'm kind of like, then you don't have to come on the show. Because so I don't know, yeah, those experiences, it's kind of awkward. I'm like,
Yes.
no, then never mind, you don't have to come on the show. I mean, I didn't say that to them,
Yeah.
but I was just like, hey, this is a platform, you guys want to use it, we're
Yeah.
here, we could help you share the information out. But we're not at a point where we're gonna be, like, paying you to come on the show and stuff like that, so that was
Yeah.
interesting a couple of that time.
It happens, right? Now that
Yeah,
like being a radio host, I've learned that too. Is sometimes some folks, they and I understand that time is money, money's time,
yeah,
and sometimes they expect to get payment or something. But it's like what I've shared to a lot of folks here, you know, being a Project We Inspire viewer. I said, um, we operate like for me, it's my extra time. This is one of my passions. I love learning.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I really don't have any money to pay you, you know, but,
Yeah.
you know, I would love to advertise for you in exchange for all your knowledge and
Yeah.
also, you know, give out your information and hopefully you can gain some customers, if not
Yeah.
some viewers and people to reach out to you to be your next maybe, next big customer, right? To make your
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
big sale. But you know, again, I think that's part of it is that you learn the good, the bad, the indifferent, the ugly, you know, the beautiful.
Yeah.
So, but definitely that's a really good one. Sometimes people do come there and they kind of feel like, hey, I'm doing you a favor, but really, you know, this is a platform. This is a very safe place to just discuss about your journey. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's really something great. Thank you. So I know that we're like an hour and 30 minutes, and usually our discussions aren't this long. But I hope that anybody who's watching, you're enjoying, and so enjoying conversation and you're listening
Yeah.
along. And so, with the next questions, I would like to say that you mentioned this year that you and your colleagues has created Hmong Wealth Builders, as we see on your next to your name, platform for the Hmong community. Please share what motivated you and your team to create this platform, and let us know a little bit about your ultimate mission, your vision, and what are you going to be planning to do with this?
Oh,
And
yeah.
how can we help you?
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks for asking about that. You know, I'm always happy to just talk about anything. So in the future, if we want to talk, we could talk about Fang too if you want
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
And culture stuff,
Yeah.
I have opinions on that because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I grew up in that space. But well, before I was doing a lot of interviews. Well, before even before all of this, I just wanted to help some of the other people that has shows already. I
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I want to be in the background. I just
Mm-hmm.
want to help them
Mm-hmm.
and to grow like that, whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And get guests and be maybe producer in the back, do research or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that didn't work out, and so then I have a few mentors that's like, hey, you should just like talk and do. And so when those mentors said that to me, I'm like, okay, then that means you guys will be the first interviewees or the first people to come on the show, which they did,
Yeah.
um, to support me on that. Because I can't really speak, like like I have tough time, like talking and stuff like that. I'd rather be in the back, but
Mm-hmm.
if I talk about real estate and the work that I do, that's fine. I could share all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so at the beginning, then it was just all real estate stuff. I bring real estate investors on, and we'll just talk real estate. But as it goes by, I went to this conference, the Millionaires Conference,
Mm-hmm.
which our buddy Chai put in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I start thinking about like our current business because we're sort of in transition. And what it really is that our real estate is a business unto its own.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just real estate investing, but we're really running a business, and the real estate is just our product. And
Mm-hmm.
so I have to like start learning new skill sets, like, okay, how can I lead a team, project management stuff, budgeting stuff, aside from just the skills of underwriting projects and everything like that. I really had to lead the team and
Mm-hmm.
create a vision so that they could even like join us on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
um so then I was like, no, I cannot just do real estate. I have to really do other things as well. So it changed from real estate to more general. And then I went to the conference and I met a Cy Tall down there. He was a state rep up here before. He's an artist. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
he does a lot of stuff. I interviewed him on my show, so if anyone
Mm-hmm.
wanna, that's a really good interview. Um, so you start talking about like wealth now, like we always want the Hmong community to be wealthy, like
Mm-hmm.
or we have money and our community is wealthy so that we can support each other and everything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like law, they always say that, like
Yes.
right, all the time,
All the
right?
time. All
Say
the
everything
time.
like that all the time. And then he did really well, all right. And so he's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, my dad then said that to me all the time too. And so one of his stories said, it's like well, he told his dad, well, bit the but I have money, right? Because I work,
Oh.
like he has money, right? And he's part of our community. So if he has money and he's part of community, that means our community has more money now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just
Yep.
that shift in there. And I was like, oh yeah, duh. Like if our
Mm-hmm.
community needs your we're gonna be wealthy. It starts at the individual level.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I came back from that, I told my wife like and a couple of the team members, I'm like, we're gonna switch our platform instead of real estate. We need to really focus on building wealth for our community,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why the platform is called Hmong Wealth Builders.
Yeah.
And so we'll build will together, like all the stuff that he like my side taught. He did really. Uh, I never asked people to be my formal mentors, but been giving me a lot of good advice all the time, and so generous with his time. Like whenever I message him,
Oh.
and so like yeah, just spending hours with me, like with like the stuff I go through,
Mm-hmm.
and so then I told him, okay, we're gonna call it Hmong Wealth Builders, and so the platform, what we want to do is my wife and I will we decided to dedicate 10 years to this.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of what happened, we'll put 10 years in, because if we're gonna do something, we need to give it we need to give a good time horizon and a good shot at succeeding. So
Mm-hmm.
if you gotta do like 1 2 years, your odds of succeeding is not as great, right? But
Yep.
10 years you will have pretty good odds of succeeding. And so the platform is to help our Hmong community build wealth, and we'll build that wealth one at a time. So this is our general idea, is that it's going to focus on wealth building in all capacity, businesses, entrepreneurship, investment, all of that stuff. This year we're really focusing on business and investment, or real estate investment, but we'll bring more resources, other type of stuff later on as well. So in concrete terms, we want at least 10,000 members in our
Mm-hmm.
community. So if you go to Mongwealth Builders you search that on Facebook. We have a Facebook page on there. This was 3 months ago that we started. So we have about 1,200 people joined already.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we want to have at least 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do, yeah, at least 10,000 members. Then we want to help at least 1,000 members, like do what I just said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
right? The four-plank single, single. So if you do that, it kind of frees your mind. That's sort of like what most people call first level financial freedom,
Mm-hmm.
where you get all your expense, most of your expense paid for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to do real estate, you don't have to do businesses, but you lay that foundation, and we want to help at least 1,000 people do that, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and then after that, we want to help at least 100 people do really well, so be multimillionaires in our community, right? So if you have a community of multimillionaires, your community can have hundreds of millions of dollars of discretion spending that you could
Mm-hmm.
now give back to your community, right?
Yep.
So we want to help at least 100 people get to that next level to be multimillionaires, where they're very mobile, they could go anywhere, support our community, support themselves, support their family, and support our community.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, we want to get at least 10 members to at least have $100 million in net worth or more. So these will be like the big, like right now, like they are Fang up here, a big developer up here, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so to me, these are like the gold medalists of like businesses, right? So we already have like Sunisa, she's a
Mm-hmm.
gold medalist. Like, why do we
Mm-hmm.
not have gold medalists in other fashion and other industry in our
Mm-hmm.
community too, right? So we're gonna have a doctor. Why can't that doctor have 10 clinics, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a lawyer. Why can't the lawyer have the biggest Hmong firm like in the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that would be like 100 million, right?
Yeah.
If you gonna be an educator, why can't you have the largest, like maybe prep, like I don't know if they do SAT anymore, but like the largest like, education like firm. Like if you're gonna be a plumber, why do you not have like $100 million plumbing business,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why are we playing at like these small like individual, like I'm a plumber, I'm just gonna work for myself. Like why
Mm-hmm.
we do that? You got to be an electrician. Why not have like the largest Hmong Electrical Company in the United States, right? That's worth at least 100 million or above, right? So I want 10 of us Hmong members in our platform here to do very well, and I hope that if we get like at least 100 million, that's already $1 billion worth of wealth that
Hmm.
now we could bring back to our community and really support our community. So that's the idea of the platform, and we have 10
Wow.
there. So
Well, I have a lot more to learn. That's amazing. I really like that vision and mission, and I really do admire your wife and you like to creating, with creating this platform.
yeah,
And that's a great goal. The 10-year commitment to 10,000 members and helping 1,000 people to go through that
yeah,
3-year plan, 100 people with what multimillionaire, and then of
yeah,
course the 10 with the 100 million. And
yeah,
that's really definitely, I would define that as the movement, right?
yeah,
Is like having a movement where you're moving this whole entire generation community to the next level. Like you said,
yeah,
that's a great question to ask everybody: is what is stopping people from especially being a doctor, a lawyer, or somebody who is even in plumbing, to say, I want to
yeah,
have the largest, you know,
yeah,
and be very, humble, but also be very proud of saying, I want to have, the biggest, like you said, of 10 firms around the country, and
yeah,
not be afraid to say that. And I'm learning that too, is that you have to really expand, and build the wealth from individually, but then multiply that so you can help the rest of your
yeah.
community. um
And,
and
and
wow.
the reason we put this because I see it already. I
Hmm.
see the success. Like
Yeah.
the say, cool. That's I mean, I don't want to butcher his net worth, but
Yeah.
he's a big net worth. Like side, like he's doing like really well. Like and he's
Hmm.
they're giving back to our community in so many ways,
Hmm.
right? And and me and my wife, we like the last 5 years, right? Just 5 years gone by, we've done 24 units, right? And
Hmm.
we done a lot of other stuff that we bought and sold already too, right?
Hmm.
But we were able to do that. I see my brothers and I see a lot of Hmong entrepreneurs, individuals that do like really good already, right? So
Hmm.
I know that the template is there, right?
Yeah.
We could do it, and so that's why we I know that we could get that done. And so even like right now, so far, we
Hmm.
put so this year we put we're putting 6 seminars together to do real estate training. So we
Hmm.
do that once a month, the third Tuesday of every month at Cups and Cheers. That's a
Hmm.
restaurant owned by Hmong brother up here too, a Hmong couple up here.
Mm.
Um, and the four that we've done, we've been sold out. So
Wow.
that one I charge everybody $20, and you get free beer, because we used to do stuff for free and then nobody.
Yeah.
But I made them pay a little bit, but I give them drinks, like
Yeah, of
together.
course, of course,
I
of
give you
course.
guys a free drink. We'll just use the money to pay back the drinks. But they pay, and so we have about 40, 50 per session, and we've been
Hmm.
sold out the whole time. So we have another one
Wow.
on the 23rd of May.
Hmm.
That will focus on hard money lending. So if you don't have
Hmm.
money, you could use hard money to flip houses and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and these are like people that I use like in my like day to day. These are my
Hmm.
partners that I use, and they're in the field right now, so they know what they're talking about. Uh, and so then we also have the large thing we're doing this year is our Wealth Builders Conference. So
Hmm.
that's the Hmong Wealth Builders Conference 2023 here. It'll be here at St. Paul, Minnesota. So if you guys are able to fly it out, come out. So it'll be August 24th, 25th. That's Thursday and Friday. And we'll have like all the successful Hmong entrepreneurs and investors be there to speak and share their stories. On top of just sharing their stories and tips and things, we're actually doing workshops too. So one workshop track will focus on business and financing. The other
Hmm.
workshop track will be focused on real estate. And so all the people that will be doing the actual training, they're all experts in their fields too. One
Hmm.
of them, I think you interview, Kia,
Yep.
Natalie. So
Hmm.
she'll do like I think a 3.5 4 hour training on leadership and stuff because
Yeah.
that's like the focus that she does. I know that she does these training for like other groups for thousands of dollars.
Hmm.
She's doing it for us like for 3 4 hours there. So she'll be there doing training.
She's amazing. Yeah, I've learned so much from her in general as a person, as a woman, but as you know, she's just so giving, right? And
Yeah,
so humble, and she just comes from a regular normal background like everybody else. Like when she said she had an arranged marriage, and I was like, what?
yeah,
And she started from scratch, and
yeah.
and
And she's done it, right? And
she's
so
done it. She's done it.
yeah, and so that's why I said we all could do it too. So if anything, come to seminar.
Hmm.
We have resources on our website too, mowealthbuilders.com. But our conference will be coming up. And yes, I'll be upfront. The tickets will be expensive. They're premium pricing. Um, things like 500 for the general, 600 for VIP.
Hmm.
But the general, like we're taking care of all the food, like breakfast, coffee, lunch included, dinner
Hmm.
included. That first dinner will have dinner and entertainment at Unison on that
Hmm.
first Thursday. So you'll get to network and you get full on dinner and
Hmm.
drinks and stuff over there too. Same thing for the second day on Friday. All breakfast, lunch, everything will be taken care of. And but that second day we'll go on a cruise,
Oh
VIP
wow.
cruise, and so you'll be there for the VIP tickets to hang out and eat. Dress up a little bit, have dinner, and hang out with all the speakers and trainers too. So, like the premium price is because we want to take care of everything. Like my
Right.
wife and I go to a lot of conferences and we
Hmm.
love the conference that they just take care of everything. So I don't have to
Hmm.
go out. Also, because we take care of everything, all the trainers and speakers, they'll be there eating with
Hmm.
you so you could talk
Yes.
to them. Like
Yes.
we've been to conferences where we can't even talk to the speakers. Like,
Hmm.
what? You know?
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yep.
so that's why we did it this way. We could have just make it very cheap and you guys could just come, but you won't get the same experience.
Hmm.
So I think this way everything's taken care of already, so that you could be there and really focus on learning and really focusing on building your network, and network with speakers and trainers. So um,
Wow, that's so
yeah,
cool. Please send us. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
please send us flyers. Send and I'll repost it on Project We Inspire so
Oh
we
yeah,
can share with all of our audiences and members, viewers. Send us all the information from your websites, your flyers, and we can definitely promote and have, of course, California folks, right, from the
yeah,
West
yeah.
Coast
Well,
here to join you guys. Hey, like I said, we met up a month ago by accident, right? And we were
yeah,
hosting our karaoke open mic night, our collaborators group, and a shout out to collaborators.
yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing.
Well,
Like
well,
when
you guys do have two Californians that will be there to be trainers.
oh,
So one is Zach Fang. He's in San Diego.
mm-hmm,
He's been a long time investor for a very long time.
mm-hmm.
Um, and the other one is Shelly. Well, okay, I haven't officially announced it, but I'm gonna announce it here. So
Okay, yay.
so this is an official announcement for Shelly. I don't know if she'll listen to this later, but she just sent me her photo, so I'm putting her thing together tonight.
Mm-hmm,
And so I'll probably announce that tomorrow, but I'll announce it here. The
mm-hmm,
other speaker from California, from Clovis, Fresno, Clovis, California, is Shelly Chang,
mm-hmm.
Shelly Chana. So she's a woman that been she's done a lot of businesses and real estate. She'll be there to teach us about multifamily investing because she's been doing that for a
Wow.
while. And so, see, we have very successful mom individuals. I think she's our age, and
Mm-hmm.
she's done like so much more than my wife and I had. Her and her husband, they're an incredible couple,
Wow.
and so she'll be there to like teach multifamily investing, right? So see,
Yeah.
you guys have two Californians that will be teaching already. So you guys need to come.
Yay! We do, we do. I definitely will put it on my calendar. I really love the
Yeah,
fact that you have the premium pricing where everything is all inclusive, right?
yeah,
I do prefer that too. I really like that if there's a conference where it includes, the hotel stay, the food, and the whole conference, then you actually absolutely spend more time with the presenters and the speakers, and you have more genuine time to
yeah,
learn and focus on that. So I definitely will put that. It's around my birthday, so
yeah. Well, we
maybe that'll
celebrate
be,
his birthday when you
yeah,
come.
maybe that'll be my birthday trip. I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
thinking.
yeah,
I've been wanting to come back to St. Paul to learn and be a part of the part of the community, but
yeah,
also I've been looking for conferences, and I hope that the viewers from Project We Inspire is continuing to look for places, especially in the Hmong community, to learn more, right?
yeah,
To progress, like we say in our mission here, Project We Inspire, is to, you know, do better, be better, and to, in this case, like you said, increase your wealth with
yeah,
knowledge and um, everything.
yeah.
So super excited about that. All right, so I have just about 2 or 3 more questions left.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I know we're running up to about 2 hours. So,
yeah.
thank you
I'm okay.
everybody for still.
I think Joe
I know it's
Rogan does like
late.
Joe Rogan does 4 hours shows.
Really?
So.
Okay. I was gonna say, wow, okay. As long as people are still engaged, I'm cool with it.
Uh-huh.
But I don't want it to be too late for you guys because I know that we're
Yeah.
2 hour difference. But
Yep. Yeah.
Stephen Koo, hope to see you all there. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I definitely want to promote and support Hmong Wealth Builders,
Yeah.
and this conference is coming up in the summer. We're just like what 3 months away, so it's
Yeah.
around the
Yeah.
corner, right?
Yeah. I need to
And so,
finalize all the details so I could really promote because we did
yes,
have people that purchased tickets already and they didn't even know anything. Like I just say, "Oh, we're doing it," and they purchased it already.
that's a
Um,
good thing.
yeah. But I'm finalizing a couple of details. I
Mhm.
just went to look at all the locations and so we should be finalizing that pretty soon here.
That's great.
Yeah.
And like I said, we are here not only as Project We Inspire, but being a part of collaborators,
Yeah.
music and everything, we can definitely help you guys promote here, and
Oh, yeah.
just give us your information and we'll definitely share it.
Yeah.
So moving right along, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, let me see here. Where did we leave off? Okay, so I think we said here you create a Hmong Wealth Builders platform to help
Yeah.
our Hmong community build wealth through business and real estate. Part of the platform is weekly interview shows, monthly real estate seminars, and the Hmong Wealth Conference. So we shared all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, so number 9 question here, it says, and I was reading your bio and your information, and you were talking about running 2 real estate
Oh,
masterminds courses. So
oh,
please share about, what this mastermind real estate course is all about. And you said that your all of your proceeds, excuse me, is going to charity work.
yeah.
And I'm curious to know what kind of charity work and what inspired you guys to, have this, mastermind courses set in the community, and how do we sign up?
Oh, I haven't done the sign up yet. Well, originally we did it because people kept asking me the same questions over and over. So I was
Mhm.
like, can we just do can we just do a Zoom call and then
Mhm.
I'll just share it with you. So we done that. We done Zoom calls with just like 5, 6 people that kept asking, right?
Yeah.
And then after a while, they're like, "Can you do a group or something?"
Mhm.
But the thing is, I wanted to focus on my investment, like my
Mhm.
investing stuff, and so I don't want
Mhm.
to start doing like courses and but now we're gonna start doing some courses. But I didn't want to focus on that side,
Mhm.
and so but finally I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do it. Like I need to donate my time, and if I do it for free, people won't really appreciate it. So I'm gonna charge.
Yeah.
But I could donate the money, right? It's just
Yeah.
me donating, using my time to donate to
Mhm.
a cause maybe that I care about. And
Mhm.
so it's very little amount of money. It's $20 a month. So we do it for
Mhm.
1 year, and so that's 240 to join, right? And we meet once a month, and then but I think I'm gonna restructure it this next iteration.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm gonna do like a training
Mhm.
for like maybe 1 month straight or 2 weeks straight, and then after that we can meet once a month. Um, yeah, so it's just me. We meet with everybody. I kind of bring a topic up that we share, and then if depending on the group, whatever they need, I provide that. If I don't have the expertise, I'll invite some of my friends that do, and they'll come and talk. Uh,
Mm.
and and so I think we just done 2 session or two
Mhm.
groups. But next year or next time I do it, which might be a few months here, I think I'm just gonna do one large group, uh,
Mhm.
so I could share the information easier. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. So I
I
just
I'm just thinking about the conference, your real estate investment. Your wife has you're selling fashion, and I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
really amazed. And then the radio show and the interviews, and I'm just super,
that's
super impressed.
that's why
I
I had
was
to
just
quit my job.
yeah, I could see that now. Now I was going to say that. I said I
Yeah,
could see why you said, you know what, I have so many things going on, and I hope I can get there one day too. To
yeah.
Fang, I hope one day. Oh my! I hope my boss never listens to this. She would not be happy, and my colleagues. But
No,
I
they'll
do
be
hope one
happy.
day. Yeah, I hope one day I could quit my job and I could be invested into teaching and doing seminars and conferences too. I love event
Yeah,
planning and coordinating. It's a passion of mine, and especially for our community,
yeah. You,
So,
you can do it, and you know what? Like they'll root you on, like especially if you're gonna come do continue mental health stuff.
yes.
Like I said, like our discussion before this,
Hmm.
you bring those expertise over here, you'll add a lot of value to our community up here.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, uh, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so if you're able to do
Mastermind
that,
classes.
do that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, the mastermind class. Yeah. So
Yes.
we actually only donated. I think we raised like almost 4 grand.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but we only donated 500
Hmm.
for now. 'Cause we donated to a group that they were playing volleyball or something. Well, one of the people brought it up. Oh no, no, we didn't even donate to that group. We
Hmm.
donated to a group that they were teaching middle school students
Hmm.
like it was a boot camp that they do for 2 weeks, and
Hmm.
so we donated the money to them to help buy some stuff and things like that. So we donated $500 for them. So we still
Oh,
have the
nice.
rest of the money to donate, but
Hmm.
it's because Sai Tall he wants to build some schools in Laos and Thailand, and so I told him, yeah, if you do it, then I'll commit like 10,000 to donate. He'll need about $2 million to
Yeah.
raise over there, and so me and him we kind of talk about some plans to raise that. And so I told him, yeah, our organization will donate $10,000 once we get the 10,000. So we're saving that money to donate to that cause. And
Oh,
so I
that's
think this
great.
year we should be able to raise another five, so that'll be 10, and then we can donate to that cause. They're building schools for kids in Laos, the
Hmm.
Hmong kids in Laos and Thailand, Laos, Thailand,
Wow.
and Vietnam. Yeah.
Oh, we would love to be a part of that. Our collaborators team, little
Uh,
side topic. Like,
yeah.
we really love to host events. We are part of Hmong American Day with Elk Grove School Board, Sean Yang and his team the other day. And we just love bringing the community together for fundraising and just bringing people together. So definitely in the future, if you guys have any fundraising events, we would
Yeah.
love to perform and host here in Sacramento, here in
Yeah.
California, and let us know. We can definitely help contribute to different causes like building schools for the Hmong kids in Laos. So
Yep.
definitely let us know.
Yeah.
Um, well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that you talked about the mastermind, because I was looking at your bio and I said, "What is that?" And I need
Oh,
to know more about it. And I think our viewers are going to want to be curious, because there's so many things that you have going on that
yeah.
like I said, craving for more knowledge and, the expertise from, like you said, from your community there in
Yeah.
the Midwest, that we would love to have here, available here in California. And
Yeah.
so
It's
thank you
it's
so
uh
much.
it's a virtual mastermind, so we do
Hmm.
have other people from other states.
Hmm.
Like we have a couple from your area there, uh,
Hmm.
from North Carolina, and a couple other states too, Florida, I think. And
Hmm.
so it's just us like sharing the real estate information with each other. And we made it a year. I made it a year because real estates, sometimes as you go through your journey, you'll have questions. And
Hmm.
so this mastermind group really allows you to like bring back those questions and we can answer those and get pointers and everything like that. And so some of the students that joined the group, I know a couple of them did some flips already,
Hmm.
made some money with that. And it's not that the mastermind group helped them, but it's that the mastermind group's here for them to
Hmm.
give feedback and information and things. So I think it's successful so far, but I'll have to ask the students
Yeah.
after we're done here.
Yeah, but it's very true. Your success is sometimes measured by the students that you teach and what you've helped them with, and then they'll let you know, right? They'll
Yeah,
say yes, you're doing well, or no, you need lots of room for improvement.
yeah,
But thank you for sharing that. So I
yeah,
think we're kind of down to pretty much our last bits here of
Yeah,
this interview. Thank you so much again for and I know that it's what, almost 10 here, so it's about midnight over there.
yeah, it
So
is.
thank you everybody for hanging on, listening, and being a part of this conversation. It's been wonderful. I'm learning so much stuff. So here you said to Fang that in your bio, you are a licensed real estate agent with creative results in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Just curious, what has it been like selling real estate post pandemic? What is the market trend like right now? And you shared a little bit before this interview, and I was like,
yeah,
wow, you know a lot of things about it. This is your field, your expertise.
yeah,
And then, like, what are three suggestions or best recommendations that you haven't shared so far, that if people are still planning to invest and purchase real estate right now, what are some things that they should know?
yeah,
Because it is really tough here in California, especially, remember, I had my boyfriend share some of the Zillow, like the most
yeah,
updated pricings for 3 4 bedroom homes here in Sacramento and in Elk Grove. So what is it like right now selling real estate?
yeah.
What's the trend like? What are three best recommendations that you would have for us right now?
Yeah. Um, well, yes, I am a licensed real estate agent here in Minnesota too. So I'm part of my our broker is Creative Results.
Mhm.
Um, one of the largest Hmong broker up here actually.
Wow.
And in Wisconsin, we have a branch, two branches in Wisconsin.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, and that has to do with the broker. He's the two of them are really good. That's the
Mhm.
uh yeah, in terms of like the market right now,
Mhm.
if you're going to invest, I don't know if I have three tips, but I'll give you this one tip.
Sure.
If you're going to invest in real estate, be a real estate investor, you don't pay retail. So you don't pay the retail price. So the prices that you guys see on there, you need to buy
Mhm.
for less. So you need to buy for us here, we need to buy at least like 30 to 60% off. Okay,
Mm.
uh, so there are strategies to do that. So even in your area, like uh, Sacramento, it's an appreciation market. So that means the appreciation, the value of the property raised very quickly.
Mhm.
But that means that rental market cannot catch up. And so
Mhm.
in your area, since it appreciates very quickly, it's a good place to do flips, right? You buy the
Mhm.
property, you fix it up, you flip it, or
Mhm.
do new construction, right? So you get into it, you buy a piece of land, put a new property there, and sell it, right?
Mm.
So there are strategies to do that, right? So, but just know that as an investor, you need to buy at retail. Oh, you
Mm.
cannot buy at retail. Okay, you have to
Mhm.
buy wholesale. Like if
Okay.
you're gonna sell shirts, you don't go to Target, buy the shirts for $20 and sell it for $20. Like that's not gonna
Mhm.
work, right?
Right.
You're gonna go buy it $10, sell it for $20. It's
Mhm.
the same thing in real estate. You need to buy at if it's a $500,000 home, you need to buy a 250. Do some value add, sell at five, and make the
Mhm.
difference. So that's
I
one.
like that. That sounds like outlet pricing when you
Yeah,
say 30 to 60% off,
yeah,
because that's what happens, like, I think a lot here in California, if not, of course, across the nation. But I love that wholesale
yeah. It's
or the
wholesale. Yeah,
outlet,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
where you don't
And, and we
pay.
do, and we do call it wholesale. So you have to
Hmm.
buy at wholesale price. So it's the
Hmm.
same concept. Okay. Or outlet, like you said. I think I
Yeah.
might use the outlet pricing. Uh, the second thing is that if you gotta be a real estate investor, you need to buy at all market cycle, or you need to invest in all market cycles. It's just that your approach needs to be a little bit different. So
Buy
buy
at,
well, invest in all market cycles.
okay.
Yeah, because the market goes up and down. In the short term, it goes up and down, but in the long term, is always going up, right? In the long term.
Hmm.
But you need to buy and invest in all cycles. And so, like I said, your approach just needs to be different. Like right now, earlier we look at the prices, and they're really expensive, right?
Hmm.
And then everybody know right now interest rate is really high in
Hmm.
comparison to like 2 years ago. And so that means who are the best buyers right now? Who can get the best interest rate and who can get the lowest the best rates right now to purchase? The 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 best buyers right now are the FHA buyers.
Hmm.
We were talking about FHA earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Federal Housing Administration, because 2 years ago, if they want to buy, the cash buyers could just come and pay for it
Mm-hmm.
because FHA takes a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
to complete the documents. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, since the interest rate is high, a lot of the investors are backing out because the numbers don't make sense. So the FHA buyers could go in and they could take longer time, but it doesn't matter because people aren't selling they cannot sell the properties as quickly anymore. So they're willing to
True.
take on that program. So what that means is that if you're an investor, well, if you're a buyer right now, like a retail buyer, like you gotta use the strategy I said earlier. Right now is a
Mm-hmm.
good time. Like do that
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
So do that. Be an
Mm-hmm.
FHA buyer, go buy a fourplex. But if you already done all that, like the three things that we talked about earlier, then you what we done is that we sell some of our properties and we prepare them to sell to FHA buyers, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then we can get the most money. Right? So right now you can be like, oh, okay, these are my customers. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't fight the interest rate and stuff. Just say, these are my customers now. Let me find the product that will fit these customer
Mm.
right now. Then when the market drops, right?
Mm-hmm.
FHA buyers are not going to be good buyers anymore. It's going to be all the cash buyers. So now you need to shift your business and say, okay, now I need to sell to all those guys from Bay Area now, right? They have the cash
Mm-hmm.
to drop, right?
Yes.
So see, like, so if you think
Hmm.
about it, you need to be able to invest in all cycles.
Yes.
Mhm.
Wow, that's really amazing. I really like this whole thing. I'm gonna take a moment to read this over because this is a lot of new
Thank you, Mom.
information for me.
My daughter's ready
Hi.
to sleep, so say
Oh,
hi.
hello.
Okay,
Oh,
come,
how old
mommy.
is she?
She's almost 3.
Hello.
Okay, come on, baby. Come, mommy. Come, mommy. Oh, she. Okay, we can finish
It's
with
okay.
the.
No, no, no. We definitely
Yeah,
family's always welcome.
yeah,
So, thank you so much again for sharing your suggestion and also talking about the wholesale purchasing. I call it outlet,
yeah.
30 to
Outlet
60%
pricing.
off outlet pricing.
Yeah,
And so I definitely, have learned so much from this and everything we talked about today.
yeah,
But in closing, I truly want to thank you, Fang, for sharing your story, your passion, all the knowledge that you've gained and you've gotten from all your wonderful mentors, and sharing this with our Project We Inspire community. Our listeners are here to definitely learn more about improving their lives. And like our motto, we say, "Together we inspire for a better future," right? And that's
yeah.
everything.
Good,
And
mom.
that's one of
Yeah,
the things that I hope that today everybody gets is that from every guest to every listener that they gain something to improve their life, to be happier, more successful, to change their lives just a little bit, so that they can reach their dreams and their goals regardless of what they're going through. But again, before we end our interview live chat, we had a little discussion before this, was that we always want our guests to share an inspirational, motivational message
yeah.
to everybody today, so that they can have something to look forward to or to inspire or aspire to. Is there something that you would like to share with our
Uh,
community today?
yeah. Maybe not from me, but I'll share from speaker.
Sure.
So Jim Rohn,
Hmm.
he's a all-time speaker and motivational and all that stuff.
Hmm.
I sometimes I kind of or I live by this quote, right? So I'll just
Hmm.
share the quote and then I could kind of share what it is, right? So
Yeah.
he said, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way, right? If you
Hmm.
don't, you'll find an excuse.
Mm.
So that's one of his quotes. So that's if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you
Yes.
don't, you'll find an excuse.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If we're able to, if you guys want to do something, there's a way. Like I seen it. If you want to build wealth, especially on the wealth side, I seen it. It's been done, and so just follow the template, meet with people, and you'll find a way. My wife and I started with like no money at all, and
Hmm.
we're able to kind of build a little bit of wealth here, and we're still going to continue to grow, right?
Hmm.
And so yeah, if you want to do it, you'll find a way. And I hope that you guys can, especially those three things that I share with the house hacking. It's called house
Mm-hmm.
hacking, but
Mm-hmm.
to buy your fourplex there, that 3 years, that's very easy to do. And so,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys want more details on that, feel free to reach out, and we could help you guys through that too.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that quote. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. I really truly believe that. I
Yeah,
always tell my boyfriend, like, he's like, what are you going to do if you don't have the resources? You have to. I said, no, there's going to be a way. Trust me,
yeah,
we're going to find a way. If you truly believe in it, you will always find a way to accomplish it. But if
yeah,
you don't, you will definitely find those many, many, many excuses, right?
yeah,
I'm too tired. I
definitely.
don't want to do it. It's
Yeah,
too much. It's too overwhelming.
yeah,
But definitely, I really, really like that. It's Jim Rohn, you said?
yeah,
Rone?
Jim Rohn. Yeah,
Okay. Taking notes.
ROHN.
Oh,
Yeah,
ROHN. All
yeah,
right.
oh, yeah, yeah. I'm surprised you haven't heard about him. He's like world famous.
I'm
So
sure it's
it's
just, you
really,
know what, I think I've been so consumed in so
yeah,
many things that
yeah,
I sometimes don't hear about everybody, but I've heard of a quote similar to this.
yeah,
And so it must be from him, but I try to
yeah,
read up on a lot of quotes and
yeah,
inspirational messages daily. So, but now I have. Thank
yeah,
you. You've shared that with us today. So overall, I just want to truly thank you. I'm so blessed to have, met you, nearly almost a year ago.
yeah,
And then we met each other again, at one of our collaborators event. And
yeah,
now you're on the show and you're sharing your wonderful journey and story of what you and your wife have built. And now you are sharing it with the entire community now. And there's so many things that you've given away to charity, but also you are helping individuals who want to build their wealth. So thank you so much for being on our show today. And we will definitely reach out. And please give us your information, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who want to reach out to you.
oh, yeah, yeah, if you want
Yeah.
to reach out, yeah,
Yeah. So, so definitely give us information
yeah,
here at Project We Inspire. We will definitely, um, have them come join your conference, come join your mastermind classes. So many things that you offer for our community. We totally appreciate you and your wife and your, all of your mentors and everybody that you know in your circle right now. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you to Fang so
uh,
much.
oh yeah, so if you want to reach me, just look for me on Facebook, Two
Mhm.
Fang. The other Two Fang is my cousin, but Du Chang Fan, and he's a singer. But just look, just Two Fang. So
Mhm.
type Two Fang on Facebook. You'll find me on there. Um, And then for everything else, you could just go to hmongwealthbuilders.com, or on Facebook, search Hmong Wealth Builders. On YouTube, search Hmong Wealth Builders, and we'll should be on there. So, thanks for having me on the show. Like, I'm very happy that you guys are doing this, all these interviews and stuff. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tufang. And have a good evening, everybody. Hopefully, everybody had a great Mother's Day weekend, Hmong American Day weekend.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Have a great evening. We'll see you guys again. Thank
Yeah.
you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.